Those responsible are the national government led by Pedro Sanchez and his ministers, as well as Mr. Marlaska, and of course
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, this is Talk and it is Petrie here with you through until 1 o'clock. And I don't know if you remember last summer, the month of August, but during the month of August we did something different with the Talkback Hour because we can, and it's the summer and we like to do things a little bit differently. So between 12 and 1, I've got two guests coming into the studio. I still want to hear, there's still your chance to talk back. It's still your chance to call in and ask them some questions. Now, this is really an hour about ageing. So what do we do about ageing? What is the best way to look after your skin? What is the best way for men and for women? Because there's a huge beauty industry out there. So I've called in a couple of mates who are absolutely brilliant on this. They have fantastic advice. They're from the Harley Street Skin Clinic, and they've got their own podcast as well about the beauty industry and the problems with it. So I've asked them to come up with several skin conditions that all of us suffer from as we get a bit older, and come up with the most expensive, middle expensive and least expensive treatments that you can use to improve your appearance. So if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask Leslie or Sophie, then just send them in to 87222, put the word talk up front, or call in when they're here. So I'd love to talk to you about this. It's just, like I said, just a bit lighter, something for the summer months that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be getting Andy Lowndes back in to talk about that space. We're going to be getting Monica in to talk about vitamins and the internal health. And then we're going to be talking to somebody about that sort of biohacking as well. So lots and lots and lots of interesting phone-ins for you. Just a bit different, just moving away from the politics and the gloom and the doom that we have to put up with, seeing as it's the summer months. So that's what's coming up tonight or at midnight. So make sure that you are with me for that. And make sure you've got some good questions, or just listen, because I'll ask lots of questions, because I need to know about wrinkles. Maybe it's a facelift. Maybe that's what I've got to do now. Facelift. Anyway, that's what we're doing at midnight. So get ready to give me a call. 0344 499 1000. Those calls are charged at the national rate, but of course we do call you back. Let me tell you what else is coming up in the programme. Ed Wiseman will be joining us in the studio to go through the papers for tomorrow. So we'll be seeing Ed in a little while. We're also going to be talking to a GP about why so many of us, particularly women, turn to AI when they want to ask a medical question. They'd rather ask AI than go to see a GP. So that we're going to be talking about that as well, and the various dangers and worries that are associated with that. We're going to be looking at the Ukraine and Russia war, because that has pivoted, that has really changed, that has become something very, very different. So we're going to be looking at that and what the repercussions of that look like. And also, there are issues, I'm afraid, with supply for us as well from Ukraine, because the sea war between Russia and Ukraine has hotted up as well, and we're looking at some disruption to deliveries and things coming out of Ukraine as well. So that will put prices up for us here. But before all of that, Prime Minister Andy Burnham has barred serious sex offenders from the government's early release scheme amid a severe prison overcrowding crisis that had pushed capacity to breaking point, except that he's allowing murderers out early. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Meanwhile, Foreign Secretary Ed Miliband is in Washington for his first US meeting with counterpart Marco Rubio to discuss Middle East stability. Apparently he was heckled. And elsewhere, an Epstein abuse survivor has asked for a formal public inquiry into the late financier's trafficking network. Burnham, however, said he's not considering this, but has agreed to meet with victims. And finally, Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch faced intense backlash for allowing a former neo-Nazi to stand as a Tory councillor. Earlier this afternoon, Joshua Bonehill-Paine, who was once convicted of abusing a former Labour MP, Luciana Berger, announced he will no longer stand as a Conservative council candidate, but he has been given another job. So this is normally the season where there's no politics at all, but we've got so many bits of politics. We've had to get Kevin Schofield involved in this conversation, political editor at the Huffington Post UK. A good evening to you, Kevin.
Evening, Petrie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. This is normally the time where we go, oh, there's no politics to talk about, might as well talk about something else. Let's start with Kemi Badenoch. This has thrown back in her face in a way I don't think she could have predicted.
No, I mean, this is called into question, I think, Kemi Badenoch's judgment. It was The Guardian, I think, broke the story yesterday that this guy, Joshua Bonehill-Paine, had been chosen as a council candidate in Somerset. Now, I have to say, when I read the story, you look at what this guy had done before. He was convicted, went to jail for over 3 years for posting anti-Semitic material online. He was also convicted of racially aggravated harassment of, as you say, Luciana Berger. I mean, really serious stuff. He gave a Nazi salute in the Old Bailey during his trial. I mean, this was real hardcore anti-Semitic criminality. Seemed completely unrepentant. However, he has sort of recanted since then. Nevertheless, I did think it was a real shock to see him chosen as a Tory candidate. I thought that Kemi Badenoch would basically take the opportunity to look strong and say, no way. But she went the other way. She defended him. She doubled down on it this morning. She gave a radio interview in which she said she wouldn't want him to be an MP, but councillors, unbelievably, she said, they only deal with parking and putting out the bins.
I thought that was a really poor statement. I can't believe that she said that.
I couldn't believe it. If you're a Tory councillor listening to that, you think, well, party leader doesn't think much of the job that I do in local government. Nevertheless, she said no, she's happy for him to stand to be a Conservative councillor. And then, despite the fact that Jewish groups have been very critical of the decision, rejected offers to meet with him, but from the Conservative Party. And then later on this afternoon, he withdrew himself from being a candidate, which I think is just very embarrassing for Kemi Badenoch, given that she had stood by him. And it just, as I say, calls into question her judgment. And it was a very bizarre call, really, that she made, rather than, as I say, try to look strong and say, no, we're not going to have this.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an own goal from a woman that has actually been achieving pretty good things for the Tories, right? I mean, she's brought them up on the polls. People seem to like her. She presents as sort of strong and decisive after a rocky start. She's really seems to have galvanised the Tories. There's no talk about anybody replacing her. She seems to be their pick. She seems to be their person. So this is an extraordinary, odd hill to die on. I mean, it baffles me sometimes how these politicians can be so tone deaf.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's not just her political opponents that are saying this. Privately, lots of Conservatives are, have been tearing their hair out over this. They just could not understand, as you say, it's a complete own goal. And you're right. I mean, she had been garnering praise for her performance as Tory leader. She's undoubtedly improved, done a lot better. It's not really been reflected yet in polling for the party, but personally, her personal approval ratings have been pretty good. But yeah, this was a really, really strange one, and it's gone down, as you can imagine, really badly amongst the Jewish community. Jewish communal groups have been very angry about it. Now, he's not been, even though he's withdrawn as a council candidate, she has made him an advisor.
I know, this is...
on anti-radicalisation. Now, I think, again, that's gone down badly. Luciana Berger has been very critical of that as well. I mean, if you take at face value, what this guy has said is that he realises the error of his ways, and he now wants to fight anti-Semitism, then perhaps he can do some good. But I just think that there are other ways of doing it other than taking on a prominent role for the Conservatives, be that as an advisor.
It's always the optics, isn't it? It's never a look. People can repent. People can, change their views. We have to allow people to grow and become better versions of themselves, right? But this is so public an own goal, and so stupid a thing it would look like to do so publicly.
Yeah, really, really unbelievable, really. And when you look at the sentencing remarks that the judge passed down when he was sentenced, I think back in maybe in 2015, I mean, it was really, really nasty stuff. Now, absolutely, he served his time. We accept that, and we have to take him at face value as to what his attitude is now and the way he's leading his life now. But I just think when you have such an outpouring of anger from the leaders of the Jewish community, as well as his victims, I just think that outweighs the possible benefit there might be that he can provide, as I say, as someone who has maybe turned over a new leaf and changed their life. And it would just have been, I think it was just such a no-brainer, really, for Kemi Badenoch to say, actually, you know what? Now that I'm fully aware of what he did, I'm afraid we just cannot have him representing the party. Whether or not she decided, she didn't want to give her opponents a scalp, maybe that was what it was, and that she decided that would override everything.
But she's handed them a really big stick to beat her with.
She absolutely has, and, I wouldn't be surprised if Andy Burnham mentions it the first opportunity he gets. At PMQs when MPs return after the summer recess.
It's difficult to see how she's going to get out of this, except just ignoring it.
Yeah. I mean, she's tried to save face, by offering him this job as an advisor. But again, that's gone down really badly with Jewish groups as well. It's like, she's tried to in some way remedy it and tried to save face in some way. And again, it's a bit of a strategic misstep. And yeah, this is a real black mark against her name.
Yeah.
I think it will be a while before she manages to shake this one off.
Yeah, I entirely agree with you, and it just seems just such a pointless thing to have done. Another own goal, it would appear, early on in Andy Burnham's premiership, is this early release fiasco. And the fact that these two killers of PC Harper are eligible for release. Now, that's the important word here. They are eligible for release. I don't think they've been planned for release. They're just their eligibility comes up. But they're refusing to rule out, absolutely categorically saying they won't be released. I guess that's because the boys' lawyers could then sue. But Andy Burnham's still on holiday. Is that an own goal? Because it does seem to be a bit of a crisis. The Police Federation are talking about, the Met Police Federation talking about suing him. Should he come home? This is... I would have imagined, if it was me, I think I'd come home and say, right, I'm back to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to, I've seen there's been a lot of criticism before this story, but there's been a lot of criticism going on holiday so soon after becoming Prime Minister. I mean, I happen to think it's important, I think, that our politicians, particularly Prime Ministers, are well rested. I've got no problem on the face of it with them going on holiday. But to sort of drop this hand grenade and then hop on a plane does seem, we talked about optics earlier, the optics just aren't great, are they? And I think it demonstrates, if he didn't realise it already, being a Prime Minister is of another level to being the Mayor of Greater Manchester. The level of scrutiny, every single decision that you make is poured over, especially controversial decisions like this. And the strange thing about it is, last week he announced, or 2 weeks ago he announced that he was suspending the early release scheme because of the backlash specifically around the early release of these two men who were involved in the killing of PC Harper. So, there's a backlash, understandably, from the family of PC Harper. So he suspended the programme. Then they announced, we're going to bring the programme back, but we're just going to water it down a little bit. But it still allowed those two killers, as you say, to be eligible for release. So what was the point of suspending it? Yeah, rapists won't be included.
That's again what I don't understand, is that it seems that, because justice would look at killers as higher up on the scrote scale, right? They'd say that they were the worst of the worst. Yeah. Then rapists, paedophiles, and da-da. But I don't know why he skipped. I don't understand why the murderers and killers can still be released, but I'm glad that rapists and paedophiles can't be, and domestic abusers. But I'm just confused as to why that band of people was chosen above the other band of people. Yeah,
it doesn't make an awful lot of sense.
No sense.
The logic that the government is putting forward is like, look, we have to do something about prison overcrowding. If we don't do this, then the prisons will run out of spaces, they'll be bursting at the seams, and that'll be even worse. But again, we go back to politically how it looks, and it appears really tone deaf, that I think, killers, obviously terrible people, but police killers in particular, I think that really resonates with the public. They are of a different order again, killing people who are there to protect the public. That is just beyond the pale. And the fact that they will not be affected by the change of the rules and they will still be eligible for release, I think is a real political misstep by Andy Burnham. 5 minutes in the door and he's already shot himself in the foot really here. And you can understand why not just the family of PC Harper, but the wider public are very angry about this. They just think it sends out completely the wrong signal about how we value the service and the bravery of our our police officers.
Yeah, I mean, and also it's been pointed out that there are many foreign prisoners who should be removed, and that would clear 10,000 spaces. You've immediately solved your problem there if that was exacerbated. It always feels to me that a lot of governments, although they talk about making the difficult decisions, they tend to choose the easier decisions, and that is probably easier to let people out than it is to get a grip of the estate as it is at the moment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think, there are no votes to be lost in sending foreign prisoners home. But that is obviously a much more prolonged and difficult process. As you say, a lot easier just to effectively open the gates and let out prisoners. But, it's difficult to try and make the case that you believe in law and order and that you're tough on crime and the causes of crime, etc., if you're letting serious criminals out of prison before they should be. It's just such a terrible look. And I get what they say. They've been left a bit of a hospital pass by the previous government, who shut down a lot of prisons and didn't increase the number of prison spaces. However, they've been in power 2 years now. It's firmly happening on their watch, and they're going to have to get a grip of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when they say they're going to make a difficult decision, actually make a difficult decision. And I want to talk to you as well about Ed Miliband, because that must have been awkward, going over to the US as our new Foreign Secretary, having not said the kindest things about President Donald J. Trump.
No, I mean, in much the same way as David Lammy, actually, and David Lammy managed to get away with it, although he did have a personal relationship with J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
He could fall back on. So that, and he had also, as I recall, he and Keir Starmer had met with Donald Trump famously, I think, before Labour won the last election. So they had done a bit of the groundwork to try and smooth things over before entering government. It's totally different for Ed Miliband. Ed Miliband was already, public enemy number one with a lot of people in the Trump administration because of his love of net zero and his opposition to further oil and gas exploration in the North Sea. So then to make him Foreign Secretary was fairly incendiary, actually. I think it was viewed very negatively in America and in the White House, I should say. And then when you look at what Miliband has said in the past about Trump, I mean, he did not hold back.
No.
Obviously did not foresee a situation where he may well have to eat humble pie by going over there as Foreign Secretary. He was ignoring questions. He was getting, understandably, journalists were throwing these questions at him today. Do you still believe that Donald Trump is X, Y, and Z? And
I think he called him racist, sexist,
misogynistic.
Yeah, misogynistic. Lots of.
New level for idiocy, I think, is as well.
Yeah, oh, yes, yeah.
It was pretty bad. It was really.
It was
really
pretty bad. It's like making me foreign minister to a secretary.
Well, yeah.
That would not be good.
He was just ignoring all the questions. So he decided the best way to deal with it is pretend it's not happening, which I'm not sure it's terribly sustainable. Look, one thing you can say about Trump is he is thin-skinned, but he can sort of let you away with it if it means that he holds the upper hand. Like J.D. Vance said some awful things about Donald Trump.
So did Marco Rubio. I mean, they were all never Trumpers. They hated him. They absolutely.
Exactly.
Lindsey Graham as well. The recently departed Lindsey Graham. He was vile about Trump. But as long as you then say no, but I love you really.
Yeah.
You have to do a bit of sucking up. Then he'll just go, oh, of course you do. Yeah, that's great.
It's whether Ed Miliband can do that. I think he might find it more difficult than most to try and swallow his pride in that way. However, he's got to. He's a Foreign Secretary now. We need to have some sort of relationship with the White House. He's going to have to button his lip and make nice for as long as Donald Trump is in the White House.
See, that's why I couldn't be Foreign Secretary, Kev. I couldn't make nice.
I think you'd be a good Foreign Secretary. From a journalist point of view, I would love to watch it.
I know, from a journalist point of view, yeah. Let's put it this way, I wouldn't care who was holding cards, I tell you that much. Kevin Schofield, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Kevin Schofield there, political editor at the Huffington Post UK. Quick break and I'm back in just a moment.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, this is Talk and it is Petrie, and I want to remind you what's coming up in the programme, because we're going to be talking about Russia and Ukraine in a bit, because that's really taken a turn now in the kind of warfare that it is becoming, and there's also concerns that Putin may attempt by the end of this summer some incursion into a European NATO country as well, because he's not doing as well as he hoped, so he's hoping to distract us distract Russia from the Russian people from what's happening on the front line at Ukraine. So we'll be talking a bit about that, and then we're going to be talking about AI. Are you somebody who uses Dr. Google? I've got friends who are such hypochondriacs that Dr. Google is the worst thing that was ever invented, because they always think, Timmy, he always thinks that he is dying of something. Just a headache, it Googles it, oh, I've got a brain tumour, or I've got this, or I've got that. Worst thing that ever happened. So I want to talk about that and why so many of us are turning towards AI medical advice. So we'll be looking at that as well. Ed Wiseman will be in the studio to go through the papers. And at midnight, as I was saying earlier, because it's the summer, we did this last summer as well, they were very popular. We're doing sort of specialist hours, if you like, between 12 and 1. It's still a chance for you to talk back. It's still a chance for you to ask questions. But rather than talk about the politics of the day or, you know, something really serious, we're trying to lighten things up because it's the summer. So for midnight tonight, we're going to be talking about ageing from the outside. So what you do about ageing. Do you have a particular issue that you're concerned about? Are you have you got a very small budget, a medium budget, or perhaps you've been saving up to get some good advice on the gold standard care for your skin and your looks? Or do you just not care at all? Do you just not bother putting anything on your face? And this is for men and for women, because the male beauty industry now is worth absolute billions. It's the same stuff, but they just put it in a grey bottle and call it something manly. But that's what's happening. So we'll be talking about that at midnight. So I want you to get involved. I want you to send messages, questions that you might have, or to call in and ask questions through that hour. The number you're going to need is 0344 499 1000, and you can text the word talk and your message to 87222.
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, this is Talk and it's Petrie here with you, and thank you for tuning in. Talking about Russia and Ukraine, a wave of Russian ballistic missile and drone strikes overnight have been targeting Kyiv and the surrounding region. The attack killed at least 17 people and injured over 40, heavily damaging civilian logistics hubs, commercial warehouses and transport infrastructure. Following the devastating attack, President Volodymyr Zelensky urgently appealed to Western allies for more Patriot interceptor missiles, noting that Ukraine's depleted air defences failed to stop these weapons. Meanwhile, Ukraine has retaliated with deep drone strikes hitting major warehouses, this time in the Tula region. So it seems that this war is taking a different turn. Shelby Majid now joins me, foreign policy expert and deputy director of the Eurasia Centre at the Atlantic Council in Washington, DC. Really good to meet you, Shelby. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. This war has been so, for the first at least 3 years, was very much focused on the front line, wasn't it? The movement backwards and forwards of the front line. In the last months or so, Ukraine has been hitting Russia deeper and deeper into the land of, into the country of Russia, and this has changed fundamentally the way this war is being fought now, hasn't it?
So for Ukraine, they were focused on the front line and the battlefield for the past few years, but unfortunately, Russia has actually been attacking Ukrainian cities for at least the past year or more, especially this past winter. They were attacking cities, taking out energy infrastructure. Ukraine is attacking in Russia, but more aiming at their energy. I was just in Ukraine last week, and my friends' homes were hit. And so this continues, but Russia is upping what they're doing against civilians, trying to terrorize them.
Ukraine, though, it's quite. I've always admired Zelensky because of his apparent. I don't know if it's just him or maybe he's got brilliant commanders around him, but the strategies that he employs appear to be really well thought through. This latest strategy of hitting the Wildberries warehouses all around Russia, actually, seems to be an incredibly multi-layered but clever strategy. Talk us through that.
I agree with you. I think it is absolutely clever. I think President Zelensky deserves credit for that, as well as many brilliant minds around him. And I like to point out that they are hitting Russia where it hurts. You have seen for years that not many Russian citizens have spoken out against the crimes that their forces are committing, but they do complain when the war affects their lives. So when their energy prices go up, when they're having trouble getting gas, and now they're having trouble getting things delivered. And so they're complaining. Some of them are even saying, I don't know why this is happening. They should really know why it's happening. So the Ukrainian strategy is clever indeed. They're trying to make sure that people feel it, and that they feel it primarily in the cities, because that's what Putin pays attention to.
So these Wildberries, just for people who aren't aware, they're sort of the Russian version of the Amazon warehouses. So lots of things are kept in the warehouses, you know, millions and millions of items, which are then sent out in the same way that Amazon would. So, and you've got also a lot of retailers who are now losing their stock, so they're losing money. There's lots of people who are losing their livelihoods or unable now, or won't be paying tax into the Russian war machine. But also the fact that this Wildberries set of warehouses is heavily indebted into Russian banks. So we could see the collapse of Russian banks here just by hitting warehouses.
One thing I want to add is that there is a similarity, of course, to Amazon and to other big shipping companies, but the Wildberries facilities were also multi-use. And so there were components there that were being used for military goods. And so that was part of Russia's attacking Ukraine. So it's not an entirely civilian operation. Of course, there are retailers that I do believe it is sad to see their lives impacted. but it doesn't compare, the economic hit to a Russian citizen versus the loss of life for Ukrainians.
But people are starting to now pay attention, not that an authoritarian regime cares much about what the people think, particularly Vladimir Putin doesn't care, but this could have a bigger impact on him, couldn't it? Just this smart use of drones and the deployment to attack these warehouses for multiple reasons.
Absolutely. And it's compounding. We saw a couple weeks ago the Ukrainian attack in St. Petersburg when there was the economic forum there against the energy site there. And then the big cloud of smoke and people that were there all of a sudden see, wow, the war is here too. Then you have less gas in Crimea and Russians that are there in occupied Ukrainian territory are complaining. Now we have this, there's internet restrictions that some Russians don't like. Putin doesn't necessarily care about everyone's quality of life, but he does want to keep his grip on power, and he also cares about the opinions of those in his closest circles. So you're right to point to the Russian economic pain, and so Ukraine is smart. They know that that's what he cares about, and they're continuing to hurt it.
And oligarchs like to oligarch, right? They like to stay
like that.
They like to stay rich.
Yes.
So if they see that the banks could collapse and take their money with them, those people around Vladimir Putin, who have benefited hugely from Vladimir Putin, will start to wonder if he's going to be the man for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Oligarchs like to be rich. They like to have their nice things. And Ukraine knows that. And so they, of course, continue defending their country, attacking on the battlefield, but they realize that they need to hit Putin where it hurts. And the Russian economy is weak, so more pressure is needed there.
The interesting thing as well is what Volodymyr Zelensky is doing with Crimea, isn't it? I mean, he's basically saying to Putin, you're not keeping it. We don't want you to keep it. So we're going to make it really... You don't think it's a done deal. I think that's what Zelensky is saying, in making sure that Crimea is almost entirely cut off now.
Yeah. It is smart, and we know that Putin cares a great deal about Crimea. So that again is hitting him where it hurts. Ukraine has been very successful in their use of drones and regaining control in many ways in the Black Sea. So they're cutting off the supplies there. There's gas shortages. Russians are complaining. Those Russians that they can go back to Russia. They came to Crimea. They occupied the areas. You see some of the bloggers and influencers crying that their beach holiday has been ruined, and so Ukraine is smart in how they're doing this. And I think it shows that Crimea, just like the battlefield in general, is dynamic, and that Russia is not as strong as they like to portray themselves.
It's interesting, though, looking at the Black Sea, and because that's not much talked about in terms of the escalation that we're seeing with these attacks, because there are regions of the Black Sea that are closed down now completely. The throughfare has been blocked now. So that was Ukraine's doing, and that's going to isolate Crimea even further. But when you look then at Odessa and areas like that, where Ukraine has been exporting goods that the rest of the world needs, but holding really tight to the coastline, right, in order to go out into the Mediterranean, Russia's now trying to not blockade that, but terrify the ships so that they don't move. We're seeing almost a repeat of the Strait of Hormuz here.
Yeah, and this is something that's been going on around Odessa for quite a while. You mentioned the goods, especially grain that goes out from there.
It's massively important to the rest of the world.
Yeah, and it really, again, just adds to the humanitarian issues and the suffering, not just for Ukraine. I mean, that grain goes to other parts of the world, also sunflower oil and other critical aspects for food security. But Russia is using terror. They've hit ships with various flags, and they've killed people that are just trying to transport goods. And then, of course, they're attacking the city of Odessa as well.
Yeah, I mean, they've been desperately trying to take Odessa, haven't they, the Russians, but never, ever quite got there.
No, and they've made the people in Odessa just even more firm in their belief that Ukraine is free and they do not want to be part of Russia.
No, I mean, I was talking earlier on to a friend of mine, actually, about the Ukrainian people, because she was talking about, actually, it was my sister, she was talking about a Ukrainian restaurant that's opened here in West London, and that's soft power, just to stick one to Putin. And the chef there was a chef for a long time and then stopped and went to fight on the front line. And for
beautiful Ukrainian story.
Yeah, for 3 years, and then was recruited to open this restaurant as two fingers up to Putin. But she was saying how remarkable the Ukrainian people are. You know, this passion they have for their country and the love that they have for their freedoms, and that they're not. And that's how they've. You know, David is beating Goliath at the moment. When we look at Ukraine going forward, though, there's clearly an issue now with Patriot missiles, and they can no longer really get those from America because America's running out itself of these, thanks to Iran. What is the next step for Ukraine? I mean, they've become incredible inventors of this new style of warfare, but they do need those Patriots to go deeper into Russia, and they do need an air defense system.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned this because air defense is really what I see as the most critical concern right now. Ukraine was unable to intercept a single missile last night in the latest attack, and President Zelensky put it well. This is costing lives, and you see kids are dying in their homes from this. So there are, Patriot interceptors that are out there. The numbers are lower, that is real, but there are more that should be given to Ukraine immediately. In the medium to long term, there should be more investment, production, but also allies should help Ukraine expand their long-range strike capabilities so that they can hit more into Russia to destroy these launchers, ammo depots, production facilities, etc. Ukraine has long said, you need the arrow, but you also need to hit the archer. You need to make sure that they're defending themselves, but also taking out what is attacking them.
There's some talk, isn't there, about America selling the license to build a sort of cheaper version, if you like, in Ukraine. What's holding that up? Because I would imagine that would be a very quick, easy, yeah, you can build them if you want to.
I wish I had a good answer for you. That is very frustrating to watch the back and forth because this is critical for people's lives. So, even if they made the decision today, it would take months or years. There's been some wobbling, perhaps it's on some, IP or other security, but they really need to make that decision and just get started on it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the EU has just released another 1.19 billion pounds that's just the interest, I think, on some frozen Russian assets. Yeah. Wow, to help Ukraine, but they've got to have somewhere to spend it, right? I mean, the money's great, but where are they going to buy what they need to buy? That's the problem.
Absolutely. And you said Ukraine has done an amazing job innovating and producing a lot. They've done a great job with drones and drone interceptors, but a ballistic and a cruise missile causes immense damage. And so Ukraine needs to be able to defend against that. Of course, it's great for them to have more offensive capability, but people are really scared in Ukraine right now. And I think there's a responsibility for everyone to pay attention. So I'm glad that you're highlighting that.
It also seems, doesn't it, that Putin is becoming more and more desperate. He thought this was going to be over. He almost thought that he was going to get roses thrown in front of tanks as he entered Ukraine. We're four and a bit years on now. It's quite clear that Ukraine is not going to just, capitulate to Russia's wants. So Putin's getting more desperate. Can we see a shift in him to less conventional weapons potentially, or him just getting more and more erratic?
I think he's long been desperate, erratic, and he also likes that people fear him. So this nuclear threat they've long had, I don't think he will use that because he knows that it wouldn't go well for Russia. In addition to saying desperate, I also think he's kind of pathetic in many ways. And I like to point that out because people talk about Russia and Putin as this strong country. Not really. That's why they're terrorizing kids and grandmas and, hitting hospitals and homes. So I think that he will continue doing those terror tactics. But there could be a shift, maybe some more diplomatic changes if there continues to be more pressure put on Russia.
Well, but the only kind of pressure we can put on them is financial, isn't it, really?
Yeah, there's financial, and then, the Ukrainians are putting some great pressure themselves as well.
Yeah, I mean, right at the beginning, who would have called this? But it's an extraordinary sight to see. Great to talk to you, Shelby. Thank you very much indeed. Shelby Majid there, who's a foreign policy expert and Deputy Director of the Eurasia Centre at the Atlantic Council in Washington, D.C. Quick break, and then we're talking Dr. Google.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello and a very good evening to you. So are you one of those people who Googles your symptoms and then goes to the doctor and says, I know what's wrong with me, and tries to persuade them that you are the expert? I know people like that. 1 in 6 UK adults now uses AI chatbots like ChatGPT for health advice, prompting severe warnings from medical experts. The Academy of Medical Sciences cautions that false online information regarding vaccines, treatments and fertility particularly put lives at risk. Studies show that AI usage is highest amongst young adults, ethnic minorities and women. However, research highlights that AI tools routinely fail to identify life-threatening emergencies. Despite acknowledging a 20% error, over half of women polled would still consult free AI medical tools. Joining me now to discuss this is Dr. Chand Nagpal, CBE, GP in Stanmore and former chair of the British Medical Association. Good to see you, Doctor. Thank you very much for joining me again. How much do you love it when a patient comes in and says, I've Googled this, I know what it is?
AI is a reality in society. We know that. In some ways, the horse has bolted, and it has dramatically changed the nature of the consultation between GP and patient. There was a time when every patient who saw me would be seeking a diagnosis, expecting me to examine, listen to their history, and come up with an explanation of their symptoms. We're increasingly seeing patients coming in with screenshots, printed piece of paper from ChatGPT or other AI tools. And what I'm spending much more time doing now is actually deconstructing that information, having to explain questions they have, often trying to put into context, often reassuring them that the information given is reaching the wrong conclusion, explaining why. So it certainly has changed the nature of the consultation. And I think it's really important, as you said earlier, that the public should not rely on AI, because there is a inbuilt 20 to 25% error rate. Now, having said that, it's not all bad, because when it gets it right, I can also find that patients will come in better informed. They already have an understanding of what their condition may be. And when I then confirm the diagnosis, they better understand because they've already been prepared. So it can have good. The problem we've got is the fact that it can give false reassurance for many patients where the AI generated information does not pick up something more serious, and that can result in delays for the patient seeking care and to the detriment of their health. So that's a very well described consequence of relying on AI. Alternatively, the opposite also occurs, where one study showed that about 59% of patients who used AI as a basis for seeing their GP later on felt, you know what, I didn't really need to go. It was the AI that gave me false alarm, and it wasn't necessary. So it has both its pluses and minuses. I think the real challenge for us is it's out there, and how do we manage it in a way that is safe for patients?
Well, what about those? And I know a couple of hypochondriacs in my world, the worried well, who will I mean, one of my mates to me, he's whatever it is, it's going to kill him, right? So it is definitely that. It's definitely the worst thing ever. And he had a headache a little while ago, and he Googled it, had a look in it, and he said, "Oh, this is something that can send me blind within a week." Yeah. And the AI recommended that he saw a doctor immediately that day. For this particular type of headache. And he did arrange to go and see a doctor. So you've got the worried well who are going to turn up and say, I think it's this, and then insist on an MRI or demand something expensive from the NHS, where you can say, and it appears that on this occasion, all he needed was a pair of glasses. Which he's now been fitted for. It literally I don't know about you, but it drives me insane. Do you not get those people, those worried well, that come in clutching, I've got this, I know it's that, I want an MRI, I want a blood test, I want this, I want that, I want the other, and putting demands on the NHS that actually are unnecessary?
You're absolutely right, and this is a situation familiar to me as a GP, and it does happen.
Cope,
and in fact, I need to spend quite a bit of my consultation literally deconstructing the information. I have to explain that the question that was asked perhaps wasn't the correct one. The information given is not correct either, because AI certainly is not sophisticated enough at the moment to provide reliable answers. And as I said, 25% of the time it's got it wrong. And then I have to actually often show them my computer screen, where I will show them authoritative information to dispel the fact that they believe that they have something more serious than they actually do.
But do they always believe you? That's the question. Because I imagine that a lot of people will say, well, no, doc, no, I want an MRI. I want...
You're right, and in fact, these consultations can take quite a lot of time, and I will then have to find enough information, and I literally turn my screen around and I ask them to read it, because I can see that they're so worried. They're not going to take my word for it, but they will take the word of authoritative information. Even then, I suspect some will leave concerned. And one of the other worries we have is that many patients will be looking at AI for medical information about themselves, often on a weekend, late at night. So they're actually then troubled throughout the night, worried about having something really seriously ill, real serious illness. Now, one way forward, not for now, but what we really need to develop are some high quality algorithms, which should be, in my view, owned by the NHS, a development of the NHS app, where patients go to that AI algorithm, and the algorithm should be clever enough to be able to guide patients to ask the right questions. Now, AI will never be 100%, but at the moment, just leaving it to patients to access ChatGPT is just carries with it a very large error rate. Now, we're not there yet, but I hope in the future we can get to that point where we have accredited algorithmic tools. The other problem we've got at the moment with AI is that the actual AI tools are not particularly accurate for certain groups of patients. They're often the tools have got algorithms that have been developed more for certain types of population. A lot of evidence that it's not tailored as well for women, for certain ethnic groups, and so forth. So it gives you, in fact, skewed information. That's the other problem we have at the moment.
Yeah, the other issue is as well that when you say you're Googling something like prostate cancer, which Timmy has just had actually, but it is there's a lot of information in there that's old. So if you're looking for percentages, the percentage of survival 20 years ago was a lot lower than it is now, but that becomes mingled in with those percentages and it looks like the percentages are lower. So you've got a lot of old data on the internet that is fighting with the new data, which is probably these days in some cases much better than the old data ever was.
You're absolutely right. And in fact, if you were to ask the same question in 3 different AI tools, ChatGPT and let's say Claude as another example, there are several, you'll often get very different answers. And in fact, what you're limited by is what the AI tool is searching. And if it's searching papers or research papers that are quite old, it'll give you those sorts of answers. Now, in very small letters, you'll see underneath some sort of disclaimer to say, well, AI might get this wrong. But of course, if you are a patient, if you're a person who's worried about your health, you can't ignore what you read. And that's why I believe, and I mean, this is my view, that we do need to develop AI within an algorithm and tools that are, you could say, NHS approved. So in fact, if you are going to be looking at it, and even then you'd still have to have the disclaimer, but at least it might be more reliable than just asking the question on ChatGPT.
I suppose a lot of people listening would say, well, look, it's all very well. I would love to go and see my GP, but I can't get an appointment, or I can't get one for 2 weeks, or, and I'm worried now. So what would you say to them? Because a lot of people do get comfort. Maybe it's false comfort, which is not what you want, but from these algorithms.
I think that patients and the public should be advised, and I hope this is a message that needs to be loud and clear, that if you are using AI for health information, if it's for a symptom that you're troubled with, look at it, but don't rely on it. You must still behave as you would, or if without the AI. So maybe think of the AI as something which may be giving you correct information 75% of the time, but do not rely on it. And if you're prepared to view it in that context, well then so be it. But do not rely on it. And if you're ill and you don't have a diagnosis, if you would have ordinarily gone to see your GP, still go and see your GP. As I said, I hope in 2 or 3 years' time we'll be in a different place with the quality of AI and the accuracy of information, and have accredited sites that you can use. But at this moment in time, no, people should not be deterred from seeing their GP. They should still see their GP, and the other is that not to be falsely reassured but with information, and avoid seeing a GP, because you might find that the AI tells you, well, you know what, your cough is nothing serious. But in fact, a lot will depend upon what you ask the AI. Now, what we do as GPs...
I always say that. It only answers what you ask of it.
Exactly. And we know, as GPs, what those questions are. So, 2 patients can come in with a cough, but you can only decipher whether that cough is serious or not by asking several other questions, which will give me as a GP more information. So the person who's not medically trained may not ask those other questions.
It's just, I remember when I was diagnosed by my neurologist, and he said, don't Google it. Just don't Google it. If you've got any questions, just ask me, I'll tell you. And I stuck to that, and I haven't done it for 10 years, so there you go. Really good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Dr. Chand Nagpal there, CBE GP in Stanmore and former chair of the British Medical Association. So there you go. Don't go to Dr. Google.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, this is Talk and it is Petrie here with you. Just had a hilarious message from Sammy here saying, my older son regularly uses Dr. Google. So far, he's had 2 brain tumours, trench foot and monkeypox. Standing joke now in the family, guessing what's next. And that's Sammy in Lancashire. That's just, I swear that is just like my friend Tim. He just is... Yeah, I can't even use the language that I want to use. Joining me in the studio is Ed Wiseman, transport and travel journalist. Are you a Dr. Googler? Are you a
I've had exactly the same experiences that everybody has. You have like a mild concern, and then you type it in diligently.
And it says cancer.
And it says just something. Well, no, I'm not pregnant. I'm pretty sure that this is not an early sign of pregnancy. I'm pretty sure I shouldn't go and get a test, and that undermines my faith, I think, in all subsequent analysis.
Yeah.
Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but I do still prefer my doctor who has an office, and a chair, and a
qualification.
And a qualification.
Well, you hope.
And
anyway.
well, you assume so.
Yeah.
You assume so.
Yeah.
I think a lot of their job is Googling. They're typing away on that screen.
Do you think
I bet
they're
a lot
Googling?
of it is just like, what is this guy talking about?
Do you
They're
think
on
so?
WebMD or something and just scrolling down. I don't know. I think AI has its uses, but not that. Is my personal feeling at this point, 10 years' time.
My concern is that it's only as smart as the questions you ask it, right? Which is why people get sucked into the algorithms that match. That's why news from AI is not a good thing, because it'll only give you an echo chamber. That's what I believe, anyway.
It's pretty bad at that.
Yeah, so if you ask it a question, it will answer that question. And if you don't ask the right question, you're not going to get the right answer.
And if you're a neurotic hypochondriac, you're more likely to say something like, am I dying?
Am I going to die of this? And then it will say, yes, you must see your doctor immediately.
Exactly. And I think doctors are either trained directly or indirectly to suss out people who are just, as you put it, the worried well. And they probably get, 1 in 10 patients are probably just anxious. You're anxious, you're stressed, you haven't slept properly. No, that rash on your arm is not likely to be fatal at this point.
Yeah,
no.
and it's always cancer. I mean, I remember that every time you Google something, the end result, or it could be cancer.
Because almost anything could be cancer.
It could.
Like, legitimately.
Yeah.
But it's just most of the time it isn't.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's
99%
just a
of the time.
stitch or indigestion. You ate too fast and not in any sort of nutritional complete. I think there are a lot of things that you can do to just make yourself slightly poorly.
Or in Timmy's case, he needed glasses.
You just need specs, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that AI can't do.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not yet, anyway. It can give you a prescription. No, I think it's sometimes it can be helpful just to realise how ridiculous you're being.
Yeah, I just don't...
If you wake up in the middle of the night and you Google something on the top, the thing that Google, you know, they do AI at the top of the results now, and it's usually just completely stupid.
Yeah.
It's just, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm on the loo, why am I worried about this? What am I doing? I'm just wasting electricity at this point. And I found that very grounding recently.
Yeah, I think that, but a lot of people do get worried, like this Sammy, you know, so far 2 brain tumours. Trenchfoot's an interesting one.
Trenchfoot's novel.
And monkeypox.
Monkeypox is also is a genuinely new thing.
Yeah.
Trenchfoot, much more retro.
Much more First World War.
Because I presume AI is trawling an almost infinite resource.
Well, that's the thing, is that the data in there can be ancient.
Includes World War I texts all the way up to whatever monkeypox is. And I think it's doing its best with what it has, which is not a medical degree, but is instead just an agglomeration of all the world's...
I just think that doctors must, when they hear somebody saying, well, I've Googled, or they come in clutching papers.
I've printed this out from ChatGPT.
I've printed this out. I think this is what it is, and I demand an MRI.
Yeah, because I think I've got, as you put, trenchfoot.
Yeah.
How would you even get trenchfoot as a sort of...
I don't know. I mean, it's just...
Is it a thing anymore?
I suppose you could get trenchfoot if you're a caver.
I mean, is it can people still be diagnosed as trench foot, or is it one of? Do we now call it something else?
We probably call it something much smarter now, don't we? But it's when your skin starts to rot, doesn't it? Because it doesn't dry.
Yeah, you're just
it's always damp.
Constantly damp.
Yeah.
But I feel like you would, if you have access to ChatGPT, you are unlikely to be in a situation where your foot is damp and cold for such a length of time that it's
not according to Sammy's older son.
Possibly. Well, I mean, maybe. Maybe with his little steel helmet on and his Enfield rifle.
I
don't know.
Talking of algorithms, at the moment, my algorithms are filled with caving.
Caving?
I don't know how that has happened.
Are you a spelunker?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Fine. Leave it at
do
that.
I need to know?
No, I think I find the whole thing quite weird. I'd never want to go down there.
Oh my God, they're horrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing all these stories about people getting trapped or crawling through gaps.
Yeah, tiny
where
little
they're
gaps.
saying, I'm going to have to breathe in more because I can't. My stomach won't clear the
Because I had a tuna sandwich before I came down there, and now I know why. Literally why.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you don't have to do this.
I think the same with scuba diving.
Oh, I quite like scuba diving.
Have you scuba dove?
Yeah.
Scuba dove?
I scuba dove.
Yeah, I think there's probably, when you go down 10, 20 metres, fine, but the people who go right down to the bottom...
Oh, yeah, that's stupid.
If there's nothing down there apart from stuff that wants to eat you and shipwrecks, why have you spent all of that time and money?
With caving, the people start and they don't even know where they're going. And they just go down these little corridors and things and hope there's a way out. I mean,
I suppose it's interesting you're exploring. You don't get to do that in the park.
It's not interesting.
You find a new path every now and again.
It's stupid. It's absolutely
No, I'm with you on this. I find it horrifying. I find it horrifying. But, we fly planes. That's also...
that's a bit daft. But anyway, that was just an aside, really, talking about algorithms, because I don't understand why I've suddenly become a caving expert.
What could that be about?
I don't know.
Do you think you're going to become a caving expert? Do you think the algorithm thinks
I think I can become a caving expert without ever going into a cave.
I wonder what that's about. What have you set off?
I don't know. I must have looked at something.
What have you triggered?
I don't know.
Have you just bought some crampons or something?
No, no, absolutely not. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but suddenly I'm getting all these stories about
with your little lantern on your head. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it is something like that, and it just thinks, right, she's just got a new hobby.
Yeah,
it must be that.
One of my team just said, "Were you listening to Nick Cave?"
And maybe that was it, and it's just a big misunderstanding.
Yeah. This is what I mean about algorithms. I just don't, particularly, that's just with me, but with medical stuff as well. You can get dragged down all sorts of potholes.
Oh yeah, and if you're already worried and a bit stressed.
Yeah, it's not good.
But I think that happens with new parents a bit as well. The baby does anything.
Oh yeah.
And sort of rush to the internet to find out if it's potentially life-threatening or life-altering.
Yeah, I think I'd rather take the baby to a doctor.
Or just think, hang on, this is probably fine. It's only bathed 3 times today as opposed to 2 yesterday.
It's probably normal.
It's out of character. It must be.
Yeah. I'm not. I mean, I am a fan of the internet. I do love it, but I never take anything as fact unless I've triple sourced it and made sure.
And life is fragile. People do die of weird stuff.
Yeah, they do.
You never do know.
Yeah, I just don't. No.
So a very non-committal response.
I don't Google my condition at all.
Nope.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know what other people's journeys are. Yep. There's going to be different to mine. Everybody's different. So as far as health is concerned, I'll just go to the specialists and talk to them. Yeah. That's it. End of story. Let's have a look at the papers. The Times newspaper. A defiant council, or councils actually, pledged to ignore new rules on single-sex spaces. This is because it's come into effect now, the decision that was made by courts on the basis of biological sex. But Labour, Green and Liberal Democrat authorities said they would resist implementing the Equality and Human Rights Commission's code, which came into force today. So, what do you make of this?
It's been going on for a while, and I medically can't care as someone who is not likely to be affected by this in any way.
Yeah.
I think that most of the people who are concerned about this are women and trans women. I have never really noticed what sex somebody else is in the loos.
Yeah.
I can't picture anybody I've shared a urinal with
And which is interesting because there are more trans men than there are trans women.
Yeah, but you don't notice them.
But you don't notice them.
You don't notice them.
No. And the thing about this, all of this, that concerns me is that I do have trans women friends, and it's just, you know, I'm planning to go out for supper with a friend soon, and I'm just thinking, what if she wants to go to the loo? What does she do? Because she presents as a woman, and is very beautiful actually, but what if somebody... Where does she go to the loo? In a restaurant. And I find that really sad.
A lot of restaurants have the same loo. This is what's interesting, is that at home and, you know, in a lot of the not particularly salubrious restaurants that I go to, there aren't
male
split. It's not male and female. It's just one. It's at the back, and there's a bucket and a mop in it. And I think if you just take her to a kebab shop or somewhere, I can give you a list of places.
Your girlfriend's so lucky.
I know. Isn't she?
She's
just
very lucky.
And we're very happy to use the same lav. So I do wonder. I just wondered why, you know, if you're talking about loos in a restaurant.
I've always said that I would have been more concerned with my son going into a gents full of Catholic priests.
Oh, absolutely.
Frankly.
If there was a priest...
Yeah, if there's a priest
that would be
outing,
a very alarming...
That would concern me more than a trans man or a trans woman who's just... But I suppose that the real concern is that most people are not worried about genuinely transgender people going into different toilets. What they're concerned about, what women are concerned about, is predatory men pretending to be trans and getting access to female-only spaces. I'm absolutely certain they're not worried about transgender women who just want to live a life being ignored, basically. Actually.
But there are lots of people out there who suspect that trans women are in fact men pretending to be women on some level, so it becomes a bit of a blurred line. There are plenty of people out there who are quite...
And I mean, my friend Zoe, she said to me the only thing she wants is to not be looked at.
Yeah.
That's it. Just to live a life and have nobody go, is that a man or a woman? You know, and go for supper with a mate and go to the loo.
And not to be scrutinised in and out of the bathroom.
All she would. You know, she doesn't want that. No. And I think that most trans people, both male and female, and there's not that many of them. Let's be perfectly straight.
It's a tiny number.
Tiny percentage of the population. You are so unlikely ever to bump into anybody who's transgender,
especially in the loo at the same time.
At the same time,
what are the chances?
What are the odds? So it's a tiny problem that gets an enormous amount of publicity. Yeah. And actually, what concerns me is that maybe younger transgender people are now thinking, well, I can't go out now because I can't. Yeah. I look like a man. I've got a beard and things, but I'm now told I can't biologically use that. I can't use that toilet. So looking like a man, I've got to go into the ladies' toilet.
And that's going to freak everyone out.
And that's going to freak everyone out. So I don't know whether this has been thought through.
No, there's been no thinking at all. Well. It is, I suppose, a difficult issue, but I think...
It is a difficult issue, but it is so few people.
I mean, to me, it boils down to whether you think of how you think of the loo. And I'm very accustomed. I've been in London for a long time, and I'm young, and I go to lots of places that don't have two loos, or they have unisex loos.
Yeah.
And that seems to work quite well.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there are sort of streams of seedy blokes in long coats queuing up to leverage those spaces for anything untoward, because I mean, it's possible that it occasionally happens, but I just don't think that is a core worry for anyone.
It would be a disproportionate worry. If you worried about that all the time, then I think that would be a disproportionate worry.
I mean, my background is in automotive, as you know, and I think 5 people die on the roads every day or something. So all of the time when I'm met with these kinds of concerns that seem like they're slightly out of proportion, I think that you are so much more likely to be run over. Yeah. And you're so much more likely to be injured in some way, cycling, driving, just walking on the pavement. There are so many hazards out there. And I think throughout this story, which has dogged the front pages for about a decade, but certainly over the past 5 years, it does feel like someone or something is stirring up a non-story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Surely.
I completely
The
agree with
number
you.
of
It's
people-
just it's something like 0.4%
Yeah.
of the
And
population.
if you're genuinely worried about your safety, then there are far bigger concerns, I think.
Yeah.
But I say that as a guy, you know, I'm
No, but I
I'm
agree
kind of-
with you.
I'm sort of-
I mean, in London, you'd think that if you, or a city, you would imagine you'd see more transgender people than, say, in small towns and countrysides,
Yeah,
just by
maybe.
the sheer numbers,
Yeah.
right? Just because of it. And I can count probably on one hand,
Yeah.
possibly 1.5, the amount of times I've ever seen somebody who I think
Yeah.
might be transgender.
Well,
who
I'm
might not.
incredibly unobservant, so I wouldn't notice anyway. But I do think. Sometimes I suppose if you're in if you're in a gay bar, then maybe. But I just think it feels to me like it just feels so artificial as a story. As you say, the number
I
of
love
trans
going
people.
to a gay bar because usually the ladies' loos are empty. It's the other way around.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Interesting.
Because a lot of the gay bars are the gay men that go there.
Yeah.
So the ladies' loos are brilliant.
Just
They're
basically
empty.
a
Just wander in.
tumbleweed. Yeah.
It's like going. It's like in most other places.
Yeah,
it's the other way around.
because of the
Yeah.
queuing structure. That's the other thing that this story reminds me of a little bit is how inadequate loos are across the board.
I mean, try
This
going to a
is-
theatre. It's
Yeah.
just a joke.
Exactly, and especially you guys, you gals, have to queue up, and it's much easier for us because we're a quicker.
Yeah.
The system is just quicker, but I think that there are reforms that should be made to loos, and I don't think that scrutinising genitals on the way in and out is really one of them. I think
I agree.
the main difference is urinal or cubicle.
Just make them all cubicles,
Those are the
and
two
then it's fine.
genders,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
and I think everything else is
Yeah.
beyond a social construct.
It does just worry me that there are genuine, transgender women who just want to live their life, and they're in a restaurant, desperate for the loo.
Which one do you use?
Which one do you
Or
use?
go in the disabled, go in the baby chair. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I would
I also can't imagine ever seeing somebody in the loo that I'm in and thinking that's not right. Apart from anything, I would always probably assume that I'd gotten into the wrong lavatory because that is the kind of mistake that I would make in the back of a restaurant. But if somebody was standing next to me at a urinal and they were not otherwise obviously male, I don't know. What does that...
Would that worry you?
Would that worry me?
No.
Would that worry anybody?
No.
Would that worry them? I don't know. This whole thing, there's something whiffy about
Yeah,
it.
I'm with you, and it reminds me really of the stories you used to hear about gay men.
Yeah.
And how they were keep your children away from them, keep all these things, and they were the devil. And now that the pendulum has settled, people,
Yeah.
most right-thinking people.
Gay
I
men are
won't
great.
say-
They're fun.
They're fun, brilliant.
Excellent parties.
Yeah.
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 I think. Yeah.
I collect them.
To collect gay men.
I collect gay men. Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm a total gay collector. I love my gay men.
Is that the thing with little ornaments, little figurines?
I do. I have a cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ed and I are going to take a quick break, but we'll be back in just a second.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, this is Talk and it is Petrie, and with me, I'm delighted to say, is Ed Wiseman, transport and travel journalist. Hello. This is a fascinating story as well on the front of the Times. Plagiarism row professor resigns from Cambridge. Now, the decision has come as university launches an inquiry after fresh claims of dishonesty that have been revealed by the Times. This is Jason Arday, who received an honorary doctorate from St Mary's University in Twickenham in 2024, and he was the youngest ever black professor in the university's history. But he's now resigned after the university has launched an investigation. Cambridge has been under pressure for more than a week to launch this inquiry, who is accused of plagiarising his PhD theses and has made extraordinary claims about his athletic feats, fundraising achievements. I mean, he seems like a bit of a Walter Mitty character.
Yeah.
But he says, look, you know, I didn't plagiarise, but a lot of my work is to do with mimicry or something.
That was one of the slightly odd sounding things.
Mimicking something is copying it, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
I am far from an academic, but I did read some of this in
it's really
bit of
interesting.
detail.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. It reminds me of occasionally you hear of those pilots, sorry to drag this back into transport and travel, but you do hear of pilots who are flying for years without ever having passed their pilot's licence and things like that. And you just, you know, it's less a story about the pilot fibbing and more a story about a system that doesn't detect it.
Yes.
And how far they
it's like
get.
in the NHS, people who claim to be doctors or specialists and they're not.
And it's just they think, well, I'm going to ride this until the wheels fall off, and then they do a check ride or something, or they do something falls through the cracks, and you know the game is up, which is I assume what happened here. And while most of the focus has been on, I know the Telegraph and the Times are both kind of claiming this scalp for themselves, but while most of the focus has been on what he has in their past said and found out to potentially be untrue or not fully true, there's also a big question mark over how this wasn't spoken about more openly by more people at any point in the past few years.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's what the story is.
It goes off as well, this story, doesn't it, into police interference in journalistic work, where the Telegraph education, was it Telegraph or Times education, a journalist had just sent a sheet of questions like he would to anybody else, and was investigated by police for 4 months. Didn't know he was being investigated until he got a letter saying the investigation was over and that he wasn't found guilty.
Oh, that's a relief, I suppose,
That's a relief.
just to hear that.
But he was investigated for 4 months as to whether this investigation was racially based.
You don't know what that investigation actually entailed. You don't know whether that was
Probably
a team
nothing.
of coppers sort of poring over everything, or one person just
One person who just went, oh,
it's just, I'll deal with this.
I wonder what harm. I mean, look, we like you said, the lying pilot can kill people, the lying doctor can kill people. Can a lying professor do much harm?
What the shame is, and we are obviously talking sort of over an internal investigation at Cambridge and a couple of other things. I don't know whether we can say for certain in a legal capacity that he lied, but it does seem to be incredibly far-fetched, a lot of the things that he's said. To me, the shame is in people who come from a similar background to him, who are genuinely brilliant.
Yeah.
Potentially being denied that recognition because of his actions. And I think
I suppose so.
What stuck out for me was Cambridge released a statement saying that he was an exceptional scholar.
Yeah.
An exceptional scholar. And I've read some of the stuff, and obviously as a layperson, I might just be being dense, but none of it seemed that exceptional. And none of it seemed to be some of the things that he was talking about and the way that he was expressing them. I've met people from disadvantaged backgrounds who are exceptional and who are eloquent and articulate and who are doing novel things. And I may be biased because I talk to more engineers than I talk to people in sort of social sciences, but I meet people who are just getting on with it and it makes me wonder, you know, are people who have, I mean, he said he had autism, and he's sort of a poster boy for autistic success, and obviously he's black, and he becomes a poster boy for that as well. But I feel like it is such a shame to undermine the very real achievements and the very real potential of people. It feels like putting the wrong person in the job, and that again I think is what the main story is here. Not that somebody fibbed, because people fib all the time. Everybody pads out their CV to some extent, not to the extent.
Look at Rachel Reeves.
I mean, actually, what did Rachel Reeves say? What was her?
She said she was an economist at the Bank of England or something, and she
was she at the Bank of England?
She cleaned the loos.
Clean the loos.
No,
economically, very efficiently.
She didn't do that. No,
she was an economist, and she was also at the Bank of England.
Yeah. I can't remember. Her job wasn't as highfalutin as she made it sound.
This comes up a lot. This does come up a lot. But I think it's a shame.
I think it's really sad as well that he felt he had. Yeah. If he did exaggerate, and it seems like he exaggerated some of the claims that he made, as saying he was a visiting professor at certain universities who'd never heard from him. He may have visited as a professor.
And his sporting achievements.
Yeah, his sporting
I think
achievements. But it's really sad that he felt that he had to.
And also, if this is a mental health problem, if this is a disorder of some sort, and I know that's been thrown around a little bit on the internet, then this shouldn't really be happening in public. And I think that's what's a bit of a pity. But maybe he'll come around and he'll prove that he did all of these things, including his marathons and his £5 million.
I don't blame him for resigning there, because I think I'd probably do the same.
I think so, but I mean,
just take some time away.
I think so. It's and the charities that didn't know who he was after he said that he worked for them. He'd worked for them. I mean, it's a sad story fundamentally.
Yeah, he said that he no longer wished to be living under constant spotlight and was resigning for his well-being. Ade, 41, pledged to return stronger, wiser, and with the same determination that had always defined him. So there we go. We wish him well.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the Telegraph now.
Yeah. The Telegraph has been twisting the knife on that story all week as well.
Really it had. Well, because it was their find, wasn't it?
It was sort of their find, but I think the Times found it first, and the whole thing is just so imbued with one of the scholars from Belgium is a sort of a vocal, vocally speaks on race from quite a right-wing perspective, and so I think that has undermined the story further. I think a lot of people think this is a bit of a hit job. But it did go on, and I'm sure it was trickled out. I'm sure it was trickled out for page
I mean,
views.
look, it's a fascinating story, but I just wonder how, in the great scheme of things, how if it's worthy of this level of a number of attack dogs.
Well,
really,
I don't think not for what this guy did. I think everyone's attacking something very slightly different. And to a lot of analysts that I've read, the blame is squarely at the feet of DEI, which is a phrase that I hate that we've inherited.
Yeah.
But effectively, whatever that we
diversity, equity, and inclusion.
But positive discrimination is, I think, what we called it until very recently. And I think there probably is a place for that. But the story here is about whether that is functional in this instance, and if you do not even give a sniff test to somebody who says that they are simultaneously a world-class snooker player and marathon runner and a long distance runner in the top 100 in the world, but also a PhD and this, that, and the other. If you can't even apply a level of scrutiny required to sift out that kind of person, then maybe the mechanism isn't particularly robust. I think it's a shame. I think, but again, to go back to who loses out, it's not like it's a plane crash, but maybe there was somebody who was from a disadvantaged background and who did do a lot more stuff, and maybe they are being iced out of progress because of people like this. I think
possibly.
That's the shame.
Yeah,
and I think there is genuinely a problem with why are people in academia overwhelmingly white and middle and upper class? Yeah. And there are problems there, I think. Yeah. It's just a shame this is risen to that.
I think this is so multi-layered, actually. I think that there's so much more to it.
And I think that's why it's such a big story. It's not because of what he did, it's because it is so multi-layered. Everybody can have a take on it, which is great for all of the newspapers. And because it developed over the course of a period of time, there have been all sorts of analyses of it, from the incredibly lefty, leave him alone. I think Zach Polanski came out in favour of him, and a couple of other very notable people came out in his defence. all the way to the just frothing racists.
Yeah,
on,
I think
on
it's
the
more
right.
interesting to figure out why he felt he needed to do it rather than...
I think so. I mean, my hunch is that it's either just a really cynical, a real cynical grift, and he realised that he could just get all the way to the top if he kept just saying stuff. He found a way in the same way that you can be a confidence trickster.
Yeah.
You find a gap somewhere, and then you just keep going until eventually the gap closes. Or there's something kind of wrong with him.
Yeah,
There's I mean, people do all sorts of stuff, I watched a documentary about somebody who was addicted to eating talcum powder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People have mental health difficulties, and he also, if he hadn't been facilitated all the way up, he'd just be somebody telling tall tales at lunch break.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody, like Jay from The Inbetweeners.
Maybe he just felt he needed to lie to get...
Yeah, and maybe that's
into
the thing.
a system that
you
wouldn't
do it
allow
once.
him in any other way.
You tell one fib at one interview, and somebody says, "Oh wow,
And then
so
you're
brave,"
done.
and then you're in. We'll fast track you, and maybe if you don't know when to
stop it.
when to stop, stick with that one lie. Just say that you worked in the Bank of England, and leave it at that.
And don't
say
what.
you were announced just yet. Formerly of the Bank of England. Formerly of the
Just
Bank of
don't
England.
be specific.
Yeah, I've done that a lot as well on my CV. I'm ex-Telegraph staff.
Are you?
I don't have to say that I was mostly test driving cars.
No,
I
you
wasn't exactly
don't.
on the politics desk. I just say ex-Telegraph. Do you know what I mean? Tell them as little as you can. Leave them to fill in the blanks. They can think I was a columnist.
Yeah, see,
No,
I can't claim to have been a presenter somewhere and not have been.
No,
a
you
presenter.
can't, because there's evidence.
There's evidence.
There's evidence,
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
But then, on the other hand, I'm sure you could get away with just, see if you can...
I'll see if I can black it.
Exactly.
Say I worked on Fox News or something.
Say you worked on Fox News, or tell Fox News that you worked on, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe this is it. If you turn up on some
Yeah.
channel somewhere else, you'll be presenting Planet Earth or something.
Yeah. Excellent.
I think you could.
You reckon I could blag it?
Or maybe go off to be a professor at Cambridge.
To be fair, I've been blagging it for many decades. So this is Wes Streeting was bankrolled by a think tank linked to one of the world's most notorious fraudsters. Mr. Streeting, who's now the Defence Secretary, accepted £37,500 in donations from Labour for the long term. LLT in 2022 and 23, despite concerns amongst some senior figures in the party over the source of the funds. David Lawrence had accepted £500,000 gift. I mean, there's a lot of this money sloshing about, isn't there, in politics, and it seems that everybody's doing rather well out of it.
I mean, there's a lot of money sloshing about. It's amazing how small some of the sums are. 37 grand. That's like a high-end...
Would you be more expensive than that?
It's like a high-end golf. Do you know what I mean? It's not like...
You'd want more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, if I could. I mean, I don't know what anybody would want to bribe me for, and I've made it very clear that if anybody wants to...
They can.
Maybe, but nobody does. So I'm pretty much safe from that. But I think 37, it's very low-level sleaze.
Yeah.
Because you would think that Sam Bankman-Fried, who was fleetingly incredibly wealthy, would
at least 50k, right? Minimum.
100, 500 or something, just I don't know. To me, it just feels like
37 is
pocket
what,
change.
lunch, isn't it?
What are you going to do
that.
with 37 grand? That's going to print the leaflets and then pay for, like, 20-odd train fares, and then you're bust.
Yeah.
I think, to me, it just feels like very low-level grifting, and I think that maybe we're overdoing that as well. I don't know. I think there's a big question mark over Farage.
There are so many, but I think there are so many questions about donations.
Yeah, where's the money coming
Where's
from?
the money coming from, and what are they buying with that money? I think that they have.
What you mean, the
have to be
funders? What the funders get in return?
There's no such thing as a free lunch. You don't get given money for
I mean,
no
back in the
reason.
day, you just used to get a gong, didn't you? You just used to get a ride in the House of Lords, and that was...
And that was it.
But you used to have to give quite a lot of cash. It's not 37.5 grand.
No, but that's only the bit that we know about.
It's only the bit that we know about, and maybe. I mean, I wouldn't like to speculate.
And as long as it was declared, I suppose it's within the rules. But I suppose this is about where the money has come from, and this was linked to a fraudster.
Yeah.
So I guess it's now looking to say, well, should there be a question mark over who gives what kind of person can donate.
Yes, and the organisation that he worked for. I mean, there was a lot of money sloshing around, and that whole scene, I think, a lot of money being sort of changing hands. Not all of it shiftily, from memory, but it does raise a lot of questions. But then, if you are in politics, you need a lot of money to make it work.
Yeah, you do, but you know, like you, nobody's ever tried to bribe me, unfortunately. Quick break. Back in a second.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, this is Talk, and it is Petrie, and with me is Ed Wiseman.
Hello.
Hello, transport and travel journalist. The other story on the Daily Telegraph I just wanted to point to was national debt rises above £3 trillion as Labour borrows £4,000 a second.
It's a lot of cash. It's a lot of cash.
There's another £4,000. I mean, £4,000 a second? Britain's national debt has risen to above £3 trillion for the first time after the government was forced to borrow more than expected. The Taxpayers Alliance said it believed the public debt had tipped over the historic landmark in recent days based on the trajectory of spending. I mean, it was always good. I suppose someone had to be in charge when it tipped over £3 trillion. It was never going to get smaller, was it, really?
No, not for the time being. I don't know what the next stage is for...
£4 trillion.
Yeah, potentially. If you do just you're right. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be at the treasurer. No, I think is it Healy? John Healy.
John Healy.
Yeah, I don't know what his first task is, apart from obviously doing what you just did. And after 3 comes 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the. It's I haven't been able to triangulate a really coherent fiscal policy over the past couple of years.
No. No, but it's above my pay grade anyway. I can't. Yeah. I'm not mathematically inclined. I can't figure anything out. Right, let's have a look at the Guardian. Again, going on big story. I mean, a lot of the stories, a lot of the front pages are covering the plagiarism accusation. But there's another story just at the bottom of the page. NHS has warned it must prepare for potential annual summer crises from extreme heat.
Yes.
So this is something. So normally we get the sort of winter issues with the NHS, don't we? Like every winter, it's like, oh, the NHS is in crisis, just about to close down, can't fit any more people in.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have the same thing in the summer.
Yes, which means a perpetual crisis pretty much all year round, apart from, I guess, a couple of weeks in spring.
Maybe a couple of weeks in spring and
maybe
autumn.
September if you're lucky, if the summer doesn't long on. Yeah, I think it's a problem. And I think it reflects a wider issue with our approach to summer, which has been benign for centuries, but which now is starting to become quite dangerous, and we don't have, as well as the air conditioning or the facilities.
We're not set up for it.
We don't have the mindset to think of hot weather as being inherently risky, like they learnt in France.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking the other day about going on coolcations. You know, people are going on cold holidays.
Precisely. We were talking about this on Monday. I think people will start having to. But at home, when do we start to realise that actually it is too hot?
Yeah, it's funny because I hear people who are saying talking about getting air conditioning. They go, "Well, what's the point for only 2 or 3 days a year?" And I'm thinking, have you lived in the UK recently?
Yeah, exactly. We still think of it as being a week in summer, but we've had a few really hot ones.
We've had three droughts in 5 years,
and a lot of air source heat pumps will do both.
Yeah.
Heat you up in winter and cool you down in the summer. Very expensively. But.
Yeah, very expensively. Daily Mail, plagiarism professor, that's the entire front page. The Daily Express goes with early release is a betrayal of hero police officer. Andy Burnham has been accused of betraying the family of PC Andrew Harper as 2 of his killers are set to be freed. I think they're eligible to be freed as opposed to being set to be freed. There is a difference there in the language as I understand it.
I think they have to jump through some hoops. It just means that they can't not be freed. Yeah. It's not that, so out you go. Yeah. You've served X percentage.
It depends on their behaviour inside and things like that as well.
And the length of the sentence. I think if you are expected to be released after a certain time for sentences under, I can't remember how many years it is. But
I can't remember.
A small number of years. Once you get over a certain point, you're expected to do your whole stint.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just surprised Andy Burnham hasn't come back from holiday to address the issue. But there you go.
Well, I thought did he not talk about some crimes would...
Yes, but rather oddly, he's decided that for rape, paedophilia, grooming gangs, domestic abusers, that they shouldn't be released at the early stage, but murderers and killers and can be.
And this opens up a wider...
I don't get the... I don't understand the
crimes?
logic of that. Yeah, exactly. I just don't get that why you would start there, but there you go. I mean, I'm glad they can't be released, but I'm surprised that murderers can be. The Sun newspaper... This is a really odd story. There's a picture on the front page there is of I can only assume is a fairly... not a young woman.
No, an
older woman there holding what looks like a vape actually in one hand, but she's a woman who stabbed 4 men at random with a pair of scissors in a terrifying rampage in London's Covent Garden. Taser-wielding cops tackled the suspect after a 15-minute standoff at the West End tourist spot as paramedics tended to bloody victims. Police arrested the woman, who's 47. Oh, she's not that old. She looks older. On suspicion of possessing an offensive weapon and assault.
Yeah, I assume, a lone attacker.
Yeah, I mean, we don't... I mean, obviously she's been arrested, but not at this point charged. But we have to be very careful what we say because of that arrest. But it's just not the perpetrator you would imagine. We're running some tape on this at the moment with the ambulances turning up to or leaving Covent Garden. That would look like to me with the lights on. But yeah, I mean, it's a tourist hotspot. We know that the tourists. This is the season for tourists, right, in London. And she allegedly attacked them with a pair of scissors. So, not what you would, not the usual kind of stabbings that we see in London.
No, exactly. Nobody's phone got nicked.
Right, so 2 have already been released from hospital, 2 of the victims, and 2 are still being treated, but for non-life-threatening injuries. So of the 4 that were stabbed, 2 are already out of hospital and 2 are still in hospital, but being treated for not terribly serious injuries. But bizarre. Again, just totally bizarre. The Mirror... finally, mental health hope. Help is on the way. More than 150 new centres set to relieve pressure on A&E departments. Mental health centres will be opened. Good.
It sounds like a good idea.
How are we paying for it?
What will happen there as well? What's going to go on
mental,
there?
yeah,
Is it just going to be beanbags and lava lamps, or
And
is it
an
going
aspirin,
to be
yeah.
trained up people who will
Yeah.
need to have been sort of started
Yeah, and
their
what
training
level
years
of
ago?
mental health care is it going to be? As
Yeah.
usual, there's sort of scant information and no sort of meat to the sandwich, really. There's nothing that's telling me that how that's going to be paid for, or like you say, how quickly it's going to happen, or when it's going to happen, or how it's going to happen, or where they're going to go, or what kind of treatment will be available. Things that I'd like to quite know.
And as Burnham said, don't give up hope, more help is on its way. I feel as though if you have been on a journey in the mental health services, that won't be particularly reassuring.
No.
Don't worry, we'll keep helping.
We'll keep...
Is maybe not...
Yeah,
you know,
and some of the help that he's handed out already is not that great.
it doesn't land the way you think.
No,
it
it doesn't land the way he thinks it does. We've got to take a break, but we're back in just a moment.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, this is Talk and it's Petrie, and with me Ed Wiseman, transport and travel journalist. The Daily Star for Thursday. I was just saying to you, stretching this headline a little bit, isn't it?
Beyond breaking point, Petrie.
Beyond breaking point. The headline is, it's Kent Eastwood. And what they're suggesting there is, forget Clint Eastwood and spaghetti westerns. This is a cattle drive on dry grass in Kent, the Garden of England. So clearly somebody's looked at that photograph and gone, oh, that looks like one of those old Western films. And they've gone, brilliant, do a headline round that. And they've come up with It's Kent Eastwood, Land with No Rain.
Yeah, and put it underneath the giant photograph of a Greg's BLT.
Yeah, a Greg's BLT.
Oh, a chicken club, sorry. It's a chicken club.
And a sausage roll.
And a sausage roll.
And a picture of Clint Eastwood as a young man, which is never a bad thing.
Well, Hey Jude is a bit better on the left.
Well, Hey Jude.
Jude Bellingham on a roller coaster.
Jude Bellingham on a roller coaster.
They've really got the most out of these stock images off the wires, haven't they? They've just
it's August,
drag and drop, boys,
isn't it? Yeah, just go and find some pictures and build a story around it. Although, as we were saying earlier, this is for August. There's still quite a lot of politics around because we've still got Clacton, of course, and what's going on with Farage and Tice and Reform and Restore and Kemi Badenoch making really bizarre decisions today as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. That's not in the papers. I'm surprised by. It's not on the front pages. I'm very surprised by that. But anyway. The Metro has gone with my lad still serving time after phone theft in 2005. A mum whose son has spent 14 years in prison after stealing a phone has begged Andy Burnham to free him instead of convicted killers. I'd much rather he was released.
Yeah, I mean, I remember this occasionally rears its head, and it sounds like he was a bit of a rotter, but at the same time, he has received
14 years for... But that must be because he's committing crimes in prison,
no, I think actually there might have been. I don't remember the details, so I won't go... It still is it feels like a miscarriage of justice.
He's serving one of those open-ended IPP punishments. His has been triggered 5 times to return him to custody. As Number 10 prepares to free convicted killers, his mum, Shirley, said, forget about them, start releasing these IPP prisoners instead.
He's not obviously that clued in about what you should do to stay out of jail.
Yeah.
But he also does not deserve an IPP. I think that...
some of these things are just very strange, aren't they?
But then you only have to interact with HMRC for 20 minutes to realise that you can get stuck in a real rut with government policy, and so I imagine being stuck with the same bureaucracy, but you're in jail. I think it's a nightmare.
That must be a nightmare, absolute nightmare. I mean, especially I think for the mum as well. For her, it must be awful because you'd be trying everything you can to get out of that. And very quickly, the Financial Times, left-wing Democrat in Michigan win that sets the stage for pivotal midterm Senate battle. I mean, Donald Trump is already declaring that this was fake, that this was a stolen election. But it is, Donald Trump saying great news for the Republican Party. But his person got fewer votes than somebody who stepped down. Yeah. Which is so his endorsement didn't make the vote.
What do you think? What's your take? You sort of...
I'm big. I love the American politics. Yeah, I mean, my take is that Donald Trump will either try to... well, obviously, he's going to try to manipulate the elections in November. But if it's I think it'll be a landslide towards the Democrats.
Do you think? Genuinely?
I genuinely do.
Fine.
I genuinely do. I think that we've seen enough movements from very Republican areas moving towards Democrats, not because they want to vote Democrat. I have to say. That I don't think that is... Nobody's going, oh, I've suddenly become a Democrat, or I love what the Democrats are doing, because I think the Democrats are pretty awful as well. But I think that they are so angry with Trump that they will vote against. They will vote against Trump.
Possibly
that's
for the first time in their their adult lives.
Yeah.
It's fascinating watching a political system where the parties don't always have a clear leader.
Yeah.
From a British perspective, I think that's one of the biggest...
I mean, Trump is
contrasts.
desperate to make sure he wins. I'm trying to be diplomatic here, trying to make sure he wins the midterms, because if he doesn't, and if the Senate flips, or I mean, even Congress, if they flip, both houses flip, he's going to be impeached, and there's just going to be law, there's just going to be court cases left, right and centre. So, and he said that. He said, if we don't win in November, I'll be impeached. And so they're desperately... And I don't think he will accept the results.
Do you think that there are other forces at play keeping him where he is? Do you think that there's investments beyond what has...
What in terms of, well, I think that the evidence that he pulled out to say that the 2020 election was rigged in favour of Biden proved that they were rigging it in favour of Trump.
Right. So I think, yeah.
I think there are. I'm not sure Russia will be that keen now. But I think there are people who want to keep him in place. Of course there are, who would be prepared to rig the elections. But I think that if the votes are big enough toward Democrat, they're going to have no choice but to accept them. But they have to be big. Otherwise, we're going to be fighting about it for years to come.
Yeah, I think, it's fascinating to watch. And they have just such a different way of doing things.
Yeah, I'm going to be covering it live.
Are you?
On this programme.
Really?
It's a Tuesday, I think the 3rd of November. So, yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
It's going to be very exciting.
To tune in.
Yeah, because some of the results will be out by midnight. Actually, during this show, so I was actually just talking to Gabriella, the producer, today, saying, right, we need to start booking guests now for that show.
Because otherwise they'll be making other plans.
We want to make sure we get the best.
Champagne on ice.
We want to make sure that we get first dibs on the best guests.
Yeah.
That's it.
Before they all
disappear off. Yeah, so we're going to start early, and we're going to do that.
Is everyone else doing the swingometer? I think it's weird how little attention we pay to the US elections. Given
we should pay more,
yeah,
because they're massively impactful, as we've seen, hugely impactful.
As impactful as Clacton? Hard to quantify.
Hard to say. Clacton will be impactful, actually. I think that will rock a few.
And it's a real grand national, isn't it? Was it the longest ever?
34 people.
The most. Is it historic?
Don't even mention one name, because otherwise I've got to read out 34. Right, and it just takes forever, and it's so boring, and I know the audience hate it as well. It's like, oh, guess we don't care.
We don't care.
It's just a legal requirement, I'm afraid. So don't mention one of them.
I don't need to.
Yeah, but there's 34 of them. It's just so dull.
It's really dull. But I think there was a period during which we thought it was going to be quite a close.
I thought it was just going to be 2 people, and I was really happy about that. But again, I'm not going to mention which 2.
No.
Right, at the top of the Daily Telegraph, my cleaner sacked me as my 6-bedroom house was too messy.
Yeah.
Do you have a cleaner?
I don't at the moment. I've experimented with cleaners. I'm quite fussy about cleaning. So the 3 times I've had a cleaner, I've been a bit miffed with the cleaning. So I haven't really
do you go around with a white pair of gloves?
Kind of a little bit. There's just bits that they miss, and you think, well, all you had to do was
move the bin.
Or just get into the corner of the sitting room a bit more, or do the top of the skirting board. And so I then see the job is undone, and I have to go and do it afterwards.
But do you tidy up before the cleaner comes?
A little bit, yes. Yeah. But then
because they're not tidier uppers.
No.
So if they're going to do a cleaning job, it's okay to tidy up before they get there. Just
Absolutely.
Don't clean. I know people who clean before they clean.
You can ask them to do whatever, and I think I did. The one time that I thought it was brilliant was I got someone to come and clean the oven. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to get somebody to come over on a Tuesday afternoon, and they can clean the oven for 2 solid hours. And it was spotless. It was great. That was a really good outcome, and I just carried on working. Instead of logging off and thinking, great, between 5:30 and 7:30, I'm going to
That is one of those jobs, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm with you on that.
But I don't mind cleaning, so I'm quite happy
I know where to come when I need a cleaner.
Exactly, and
You'll get into the corners.
I will. I'll take like an annoyingly long time.
It's been great to see you,
As
Ed.
ever.
Thank you
for having me.
very much indeed. Ed Wiseman there, transport and travel journalist. Stay where you are. We've got another hour to go.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, and a very good morning to you. This is Talk, and I am Petrie. And because it's the summer, we've decided to do, like we did last summer, these special hours where it's a bit lighter, it's not so much news-based, but nonetheless, for me anyway, important topics. So what I wanted to start with this summer was to look at ageing. Yeah, if you look at my face. So I want to know from you, do you have any particular issues about your face? Maybe you've got it's always about budget as well, isn't it? It's always about how much money you've got to spend. So we've got some experts in, and I've asked them to come up with 3 levels of spending, if you like, because there are some people who've been saving money because they want to put it towards their face, or they haven't got much in the way of budget. So I thought to keep it open and keep it for everybody, that's what we should do. So I am a recent convert to skincare. I used to think it was all a lie. I used to think that anybody who said, oh, buy this, it's wonderful, I used to think, yeah, that's just the same as the cheap stuff. It's definitely just the same as the cheap stuff. But I have had to eat my words, and I've had to accept that there is such a thing as a really good product. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a very expensive product, but there are products that are brilliant, and there are those that do absolutely nothing at all. And many of you have commented recently about my skin. That's because of one of the ladies here, anyway, who put me on to a new skin regime. So she was the expert that I wanted to introduce you to. And it's Leslie Reynolds. Hello. Good to meet you. Well, good to meet you. Good to see you in here. A skincare expert and co-founder of the award-winning Harley Street Skin Clinic in London, and her daughter, who is Sophie Cooper, who's co-host with Leslie of a fabulous podcast, which I also wanted to mention to you. You've got to have a listen to this, of the Next in Line podcast with Leslie. So the two of you do a podcast together. Mm-hmm. Sophie, tell me what it's about. What do you look at?
So we look at beauty. We look at running the clinic. Obviously, it's a family business, so kind of running that and just kind of tips and everything. We just want to share our experience, really, of in the clinic, what it's like. And all the procedures we do, because we do so many, don't we?
Yeah, yeah. And the thing I find about the clinic is that actually it's got a really nice feel about it. It does feel like it, because often people think, oh, we go to a central London, place, Harley Street Skin Clinic. You're going to imagine it's all going to be, stuck up and perfect, and it absolutely isn't. Do you know? I did though. You do think that people are going to be all very, all these rich people wandering about being a bit snooty.
Yes, I think people do, but as you know, it isn't like that at all. And we get people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
We get people who save up a couple of £100s to come and have some Botox, and then we get celebrities and people from the city, nurses, doctors, all sorts of people. Actually, I've noticed, and I've been doing this for a long time, I've been doing this for 35 years, and we've had the clinic for 20 years, and I've noticed that the majority of people that come are people that are in caring professions.
Really?
Yes, and we get so many health workers, people that work in children's societies, people who work in hospices, all sorts of things like that. So it's not just... Bizarre. Yeah, and I think it's because they need a bit of care themselves.
Yeah.
So they actually need somebody to say to them, oh yeah, well, how are you feeling? What would you like to do? And I can do this for you, or come and have a lovely facial. Because it's not all just cutting, is it? Slicing and dicing and needles. We do lovely facials and things as well. So
yeah, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because it's not just women either. I've seen a lot of guys waiting in your waiting rooms as well. Loads of men now. Yeah. So that sort of... that dread of ageing, I think perhaps it's become more of a dread as more people are on social media, maybe, or they want to look their best for longer. But to see so many men going through must have been a change, Leslie, that you've seen in your time.
God, well, when I started my first clinic, I had one male client.
Wow.
Literally one man, and all the other clients were women, and they were mostly older, so really sort of 40 plus, or even 45 plus. But now it's almost a split. It's probably, what, 45, 55? And sometimes you can sit in the waiting room, there could be an equal split of men and women.
Yeah, and younger and younger.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? To see younger people now, I kind of despair about that a little bit.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do. You do
Even
as well,
I do.
don't you?
Yeah.
I think sometimes girls are coming in, a lot of girls, and we always say, you don't actually need...
You're beautiful.
Yeah,
Youth
you don't
is
need that.
beautiful.
Have some
Yeah.
skincare.
Yeah.
They sometimes want to go too far, don't they? Too much, too soon.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And I do say that to them. I do say, have you looked in the mirror, you know, and show me what is it that you're really worried about? And actually, it's this area mostly, isn't it? It's the
Really?
jawline and under here. So a lot of people have genetically got quite heavy jawlines.
Oh, right.
And because they know they can do something about it now, they want to do it.
But if you get somebody who is younger, and like I said, I think in of itself, youth is beautiful, right? Young skin is of
lovely.
itself beautiful. Yeah. It's what I'm trying to get back to. But it is interesting, isn't it, that these young women and young men are just not satisfied.
And that is sad, actually. And I put a lot of that down to social media.
Yeah.
And the photos, because they'll come in and they'll say, I saw this awful photo of myself somebody took on Instagram or TikTok. There's lots of things like that, aren't there? And they will come in, actually, and show you lots of different photos that they've seen of themselves. And because they know they can do something now, they will.
And is it beholden on you to kind of stop people sometimes? I mean, especially with Dr. Khan, right?
Yeah.
You know, people going in and saying, right, I want fillers, I want Botox, I want this, I want that. To say... No.
Oh, we do. We
He
say
says
no a
that,
lot,
doesn't
don't we?
he?
He does, yeah.
Especially if it's not right for somebody.
Yeah.
There's always something they can have, a facial.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
will just make them feel as good as having injectables. But the problem is sometimes they'll come to us, we'll say no. They might go somewhere else, and then they come back and say, oh, I've had this done, help me.
Help.
That's the thing, someone probably will do it.
And I think
That is the problem, isn't it? The people are they're not behaving as doctors should in terms of doing
it's
no
all
harm.
about the money, isn't
Yeah.
it? Really.
Yeah.
If we say that, but I always think that the starting point for everybody, whatever age we are, is the skin. Is getting your skin right, and seeing that difference in your skin, which you see really quickly if you're using the right products.
I think, I mean, like, as you know, I'm just, was really quite surprised. Because I think, again, generationally, and interesting, because I've always done a job where I'm in front of a camera or in front of a microphone or whatever, but I've never really thought about my skin that much. I've always thought that it was all a bit of a con. I've said that to you.
You said that to me.
Yeah, I said, I just thought, they're just trying to get more money out of me. Does it really make that much difference? I'd buy the cheapest thing that I could, a bit of Nivea, which is a good product, right? But I didn't ever change it. I didn't do anything until I met you. And then it was like, oh, right, I get it now.
And it was literally a couple of weeks, wasn't it? You saw a big difference.
Huge
in that.
difference.
Yes,
And it's funny because my sister, who's younger than me by 10 years, by the way, she saw my skin and then bought the same product, which is Needle L, isn't it? What's it?
Needle.
Yeah. And she looks amazing. I mean, it's like. Oh, I feel like I was Leslie.
helped her.
Yeah, I helped her. I think I did my bit. When you get people coming in, what is the number one thing, do you think? I suppose it depends on age groups that people are concerned about.
For me, I think the biggest thing I see is wrinkles around the eyes, dark circles. So whatever age somebody comes in, and it might be male or female, and they do come in very young now. They come in their early 20s now.
Gosh, that is too young.
Yeah, but it's always this area here, isn't it?
But I think there's always something else going on. We were talking earlier about this, saying when people are coming in, sometimes it's not... There's something else going on why they're not happy. It's not actually their eyes. or something. It's normally eyes, isn't it?
It's usually the eyes.
They sound tired,
Yeah,
look
I'm
tired.
tired. But often it'll be, and I do say this as well to people, that yes, we can give you this treatment and it will help to make you look fresher, but it won't get you the relationship or the job.
Yes.
You know, or change your life. But it might make you feel a bit more confident, and I think that's what it's really about for a lot of people.
Yeah, again, it's just, it's really sad to me that people are so dissatisfied with the way they look, because everybody's so judgmental, right? I mean, you walk out onto the street and people can be judgmental, and nowadays they can't help but tell you.
No, I know, it's rude,
right?
actually, isn't it?
In the old days, people used to keep it to themselves or go, oh, look at the state of her.
Yeah.
But now they'll say it to your face.
And I think that is social media, though, and people make horrible comments.
Yeah.
You know, you look at something sometimes, I think, and I do sometimes, and I think, nice.
Yeah, they can say awful
people are
things,
so
can't they?
rude.
Oh my goodness! I mean, I've had my fair share of really nasty just commenting on my hair, or commenting on my face, or commenting on my weight, or it's kind of like, what's it got to do with you? I'm here. I'm a journalist doing a show. It shouldn't matter what I look like.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And I didn't come and see you guys because I was worried about what I looked like here. I just wanted to look a bit fresher. But yeah, people are so rude.
Well, I think what gives them the right to say some of the things they say. I mean, it's awful. I'd never say that to somebody.
No.
And even when people are sitting in front of me, I would never say what I think they need.
No.
I wait and I say, what is it that you're concerned about?
Yeah.
Or what bothers you?
Yeah.
And often they'll say something that I haven't noticed. And I say, well, I didn't notice that at
Yeah.
all. But yes, we can help you with it, but I haven't even noticed it.
Isn't that... Again, people will pick on something, you know, they might think that they've got, like you said, the dark rings under their eyes, and actually it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But what I don't like to see is sort of the faces that could become sort of homogenous, that so many people look the same now because they've all had very young having Botox, crazy, no laughter lines, no character in their faces, and that again is really, I mean, this is a sort of Essex look, you know, the one I'm talking about.
I think that's what people worry about with Botox.
I come from Essex.
Oh, you've definitely got the Essex look, Leslie.
Well, I was born and bred there.
But you know what I mean? The sort of
I do, yeah.
the filled lips, that's a big thing.
I think
We've never done that, have we?
And that's kind of, everyone's gone off of that now, haven't they, really? A lot, like, everyone wants to...
The trout pout.
Everyone wants to dissolve their filler.
Oh, do
it's
they?
the big thing, yeah. They want to dissolve and start again because they've gone
Too far.
much. They've been overfilled. You have to be really careful then dissolving it.
Yeah, you
and
have to be
starting
very
again.
careful.
It's like a whole journey, isn't it?
I mean, that's the thing. It must be like taking off a tattoo, right? There's a long, slow process once you've made a decision.
Well, yeah, it can be dangerous as well, can't it?
Yeah, you can have a really
Be
good-
very careful when you're dissolving it. If you're having your filler dissolved, and there was that time, wasn't there, about 5 years ago when people had massive cheeks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and massive lips, and sometimes people would come in that you could literally, they could see their cheeks. They were so full.
Yeah. It's like
I
a
mean,
shelf, isn't it?
Yeah,
Almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've never done that, actually. We've always been, and our whole ethos is that we want to make you look as good as you can look for you,
Yeah.
but not like somebody else, so you don't look like somebody else.
But do people bring in pictures and say, I want my
yeah.
lips like that? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
the
actually, Dr. Khan's great at that. He'll say, well, you'll never look like that.
Yeah, it does. I don't think they want that.
No, they don't
answer,
want to hear that at all. You never look like that because that's Angelina Jolie.
Yes.
That's her, you know.
She's got a lot of other stuff going on.
Exactly.
That you haven't got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like the hairdressers of the day, wasn't it? I want the Jennifer Aniston cut, and they're looking at you going, that's not going to work. That's not gonna work. We can do it, but it's not going to work. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll dig into some of the conditions that you may be concerned about.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, and a good morning to you. This is Talk, and it is Petrie here. And we are still welcoming calls, even though we are chatting away here. So if you do have anything you'd like to ask our experts here on anti-ageing, on skincare, anything like that, then please do just pick up the phone. The number 0344 499 1000, or just send me the question and I can ask it for you. Put the word Talk and your message to 87222. With me in the studio is Leslie Reynolds, skincare expert and co-founder of the award-winning Harley Street Skin Clinic in London, and Sophie Cooper, co-host of the Next in Line podcast with Leslie. And they happen to be mother and daughter. So thank you both for coming in. Let's have a look at some of the problems that most people will have as they get older. Wrinkles around the eyes and forehead. Right, so what are the treatments that you can do for that? Are there any you can do at home? Is there anything?
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't want to spend or can't spend the money on Botox, and Botox can be expensive.
Yeah.
It is undoubtedly the best thing for lines and wrinkles around your eyes and forehead because it works. You know,
and what does Botox actually do?
It relaxes the muscles, so when you're... If you're somebody like I used to, before, obviously I've had Botox for years, as everybody knows, but I used to really frown a lot, and I started to get really deep lines here, and it's taken that away completely. And now I'd had it for a few years quite regularly, and now I probably have it about every 9 months or so. So you do have it less as the time goes on.
Well, is that because your muscles get used to...
Well, you just stop. When it's stopping you from frowning or from squinting, and then your muscles just forget to do it eventually. They're not doing it. Even when you don't have it, the lines are not there.
Because I'm always blown away by your skin, Leslie. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's really nice. But it's obviously genetic as well, because yours is good too. But
we work at it.
Yeah. But have you had Botox yet? Yeah. Is that a rude question?
No, not. I've had a little bit here.
Right. But you've got a full fringe. You don't ever need Botox.
I know, but it makes you feel so lovely. It makes you feel so fresh. Just a little bit of Botox. Yeah. Here, just in the middle.
Have you had it anywhere else?
I haven't had it anywhere. I have a Botox mist facial, which is amazing. So
what's that?
Tiny little mounts of Botox. And it's microneedled into your skin with microneedling, and it just stops any sweating. So if you're going away on a holiday, you can have it behind your neck to stop any sweating. It's amazing. It closes your pores. And it obviously, you still have movement. I think people think with Botox, you're going to get no movement.
You're going to be frozen.
We don't do that, look, do we?
No, we do baby Botox, so we do tiny amounts. But the Botox mist, it's called, isn't it, that facial? I've never had it. But a lot of people that are very greasy or have got open pores or very big pores have it, and it does stop the sweating. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, for
and
summer.
when you talk about microneedles, this is in the moisturiser that I use, right? Needle. They just feel like little, like a facial scrub. Like little bits of
and they melt into your skin, don't they? And I think one of the things I love about that product is that it makes you massage. And I think massage is so important for your skin. It's so important for your sort of lifting. I think it really helps.
Yeah, just that pushing up movement that you do to get the microneedles through. But that's an interesting one, the idea, because I didn't know that was possible to do that sort of Botox. So there's tiny little needles with a tiny amount of Botox on them.
So tiny little microneedling, so tiny little needles. Yeah. And then really diluted Botox all over.
Does it hurt?
No. Have a little bit of numbing cream on.
Yeah.
Because I'm not good with pain.
I'm terrible. Yeah, I'm terrible with it. Yeah.
But it just stops you from sweating and
and it makes you have a glow, closes up any pores, so like on the nose and.
And this is also the thing, isn't it? That the beauty world has moved on.
Oh gosh,
it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. We were talking about that from when you first started.
Well, I mean, when I started, we had fillers. We didn't even have Botox, and then we started using Botox in the late 90s. and then there's a few lasers, a couple of bits and pieces coming along, but hardly anything. So when we started the clinic, we had Botox, fillers and a bit of laser.
And, I mean, that is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and now it's just, you can get virtually anything, can't you? Oh. But going back to Botox, a lot of people now have it in the summer, you know how hot it's been, have it around the hairline, back of the neck. A lot of ladies have it under their boobs, don't they?
Armpits.
Armpits, yeah.
Hands,
oh, your hands, yeah.
Apparently it's painful, isn't it, in the hands and the feet?
Yeah, but I'm a baby. I think I'd find that very hard.
What sort of money are we looking at for Botox?
It depends where you go, and it depends who you go to.
But make sure you go to somebody good.
Yeah, we see people, quite a lot of people come to us who have had treatments with somebody that's maybe very, very experienced, and you can get very lopsided. You can have a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
But you're going to start with Botox at about $199, $199. And keep going up the more you have.
Yeah,
you know.
And is that for one syringe full, or is that?
It's just one area.
Just one area.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's not too bad. To if you're going to save up for it. Somebody just said, can you share the name of the skincare products again, please? And it's Needle L.
Yes, so it's Lab 31B.
Lab 31B.
Need L. So
it's Need.
E-E-D
L.
And then a capital L.
Right. So Lab 31B. I mean, I can honestly bear testament to that. So there you go. You've got that. So what about chemical peels? They always look very scary to me, but they're pretty good, aren't they, for wrinkles?
They are good.
They're amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they look so scary.
You can start really lightly with peels, can't you? You need to prep your skin at home, don't we? We always need to prep the skin.
What do you do? How do you prep it?
Well, you prep it with glycolic, usually with glycolic or some sort of acid,
right?
Very lightly, and you prep it for a couple of weeks. And then I like people to start with a very light peel, and I do it on my own hands actually. I give myself a peel every night. Go into the cupboard, pinch the chemicals.
Do you?
She's always doing things.
I'm always doing. It's great for your hands as well as your face and your neck. What they do is they just
your hands do look good. I've not noticed that before.
Actually, they do look better, don't they? They look better
in there
at the moment.
every day.
Yeah, every day.
I've noticed this patch here where I put my moisturiser on before I put it on my face. That is much softer than that hand.
It does make a big difference, doesn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so then you. What does the chemical? The images I've seen are terrifying.
Yeah, because you're going to they always show you what's worse, and they'll show you a very deep peel with the skin falling off. So we do peels like that, but really we like to start with a light peel, and what it does is it dissolves some dead skin on the surface of your skin, and it comes off very, very lightly. There's a fabulous peel that I love called the Messenger peel, and that you don't really get much flaking with that at all. So for someone like me, I'm in the clinic, I can't walk around my face falling off, really.
Bad advert.
Yeah. What have you done? And I do it on my hands, and it's a fantastic peel. And it just...
And can you do it at home?
Not really.
Not really.
You need a professional to do it to make sure that you don't get it in your eyes where you're doing it. I hate people doing peels at home.
Yeah, a lot of people come in when they've done peels at home and they get... It's just not a good...
But we do a peel pad, don't we?
Yeah, skincare.
Yeah, a skincare pad. It's a pot of pads, and they're seeped in a very light peel, and you can use it once a day on your skin. It keeps skin really fresh.
And that takes the dead skin
takes the dead skin off, and
it's good for your back as well. If
great,
you've got acne on your back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can just wipe it over. And the arms as well.
Arms. A lot of people get keratosis pilaris, you know, those little bobbles on the arm. Great for that. And people, and this isn't a very popular thing to say, but people get acne on their butt as well.
Yeah.
And that's really, I mean, for a lot of people, very upsetting. And so you can use those peels at home every day.
Yeah.
And it really helps. So peels are really good in the right hands, at the right strength.
Again, what are we looking at cost-wise for that?
I mean, they can start from £50, £100, go up to about £500. A really, really deep peel would probably be about £1,200.
Wow.
But you don't need to go that deeply. Most people don't need that.
Okay, we got a message here from Sammy. She said, I love my wrinkles and my wisdom lines. However, not my suitcases under my eyes. Plus, I wear glasses. I look like a panda with old doctor bags. Any suggestions for things that I can do at home? So I've never had that puffy under eye thing. But I think that's genetic. I think I'm very, very lucky. Some people genetically have that sort of quite... What can they do? What can they do at home with that?
At home? Well, you love teaspoons, don't you, at home?
Oh, yeah, put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
They're amazing. You can get, like, ice globes and things now, but teaspoons, just put them in.
Just as good.
And just hold it on in the mornings. It takes it all down. Just massage as well with them.
Oh.
Amazing.
So with the back of the teaspoon, you can use it to just massage
like a
around your eyes.
Just drain it, yeah.
And that will drain the puffiness.
Yeah,
There you go, Sammy.
Give it a try.
Give it a try. Let us know. Let us know how you go with that. So the chemical peels are good. Microneedling. I've seen the microneedling machine, which terrifies me a bit. But what does that do? That penetrates. That looks scary. Does that hurt?
Actually, it isn't scary. I mean, I'm a bit like you because although I've been doing this all these years, I find a lot of the treatment's scary.
Yeah.
And you don't like pain, I don't like pain.
No.
So we're very tentative
You have to
about
pluck
what
up
we
the
do.
courage to get it done, don't we?
But microneedling is fantastic for anti-ageing.
What does it do?
What it does, puts lots of little tiny needles into the skin, and what your skin does is repairs itself. It produces collagen, makes your skin thicker and tighter. But what's really important is what you use with it. And so we use exosomes, we use polynucleotides, and we use peptides. So
These are all the new
different
buzzwords,
things.
aren't they?
Yeah, and they are they're so popular now.
Yeah.
Yeah, polynucleotides, and I've had one treatment of polynucleotides, and I think I've had one of exosomes.
As a cream or as a...
Well, I use them all as creams. I love creams.
Yeah.
But no, as a treatment, and I was red for about 24 hours, which I hate. So I don't like any downtime.
Yeah.
But it was manageable. So by the next day,
they do a mask. ABG Lab, so the needle, they do a mask.
Oh yeah.
A post-peel mask, which is incredible. It's like a jelly.
Right.
And you apply that, and it takes the redness down. I had a Morpheus 8 on my neck, and I put
what?
Morpheus 8. It's, you know.
She does love the treatment actually.
What's like it's a one-up from microneedling.
Oh, right.
So radio frequency based
Right.
microneedling. And I had that done, and then afterwards I put the mask on, and it took it down within an hour.
Because that would worry me as well.
It was incredible. It
Yeah.
just took the redness down. So we give that to people as aftercare now because
Yeah.
it's amazing. Yeah.
That is
Miso
really
water.
cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic actually. Miso water 199.
So the microneedling is £250 to £500, and it's usually done in a course of 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is that £500 for the 3 sessions, or is that per session?
No, it'd be per session.
Right.
But you'd probably start with the 250, that kind of price.
So it's quite expensive, but it does...
It's an investment, and
It
what I
works.
say to people, this is for people that really want to change their skin.
Yeah.
And have a real concern that they don't like, or someone like me who's getting old.
Who's
and
25 years old.
Yeah, and with lots of VAT. and I hate these lines here.
What
which I've
lines?
noticed since I've got to...
What lines is she talking
I know,
about?
she says to me on the podcast, she goes, my lines. I'm like, you're
I hate
amazing.
these lines here.
Oh, I've got those. They're lots.
Well,
but yours aren't as bad as mine.
We've had a lot of work, these lines.
Well, I want that work done.
But that microneedling with, I think I had exosomes.
You had exosomes.
Exosomes are fantastic. And I like an exosome cream as well. I mean, there are some good creams. But also, I'm a bit tight with what I like to spend on creams.
Yeah.
And I don't like spending a lot of money on something unless it's really, really worth it.
Unless it actually works. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And a lot of the stuff, I'm afraid, in chemists on the shelves that promise to deliver just really don't. They don't do it for me anyway. So that's the... and then the more expensive is, we're talking about where we started, which is with Botox.
Yeah.
Those are the things. It's got the chemical peel to start, then onto microneedling, and then the most expensive one is Botox, and the results of Botox will last around 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, most people have it a couple of times a year.
Yeah.
Okay, but I've got to say here The other thing I really love, and it doesn't cost you anything but your time, is facial exercises.
Oh, does that work?
They
Facial
do work.
yoga and
They
things like
really
that.
do work.
Does it?
But you have to keep
does
doing
You
it.
have to do it every day.
Yeah.
What do you have
Time
to do?
consuming.
Yeah, literally all these weird face movements, don't you?
But it is good.
Yeah.
It does genuinely work. You're not having me on to
No,
make me look
no,
like a fool.
No, it really works.
Yeah.
It really does work.
Yeah, we've got somebody who actually teaches people facial yoga, and it's fantastic. She gets really good results. with
Especially
it.
if people have had treatments, more surgical.
And how quickly does that work if you start doing facial
You actually see them
yoga?
quite quickly. I mean, I do my eyelids sometimes. You have to really raise your eyes. It's very hard to do. Raise your eyelids very, very carefully, very slowly, up several times. Yeah, and you look crazy doing it. But it does work.
But you have to
But
keep
you have
doing
to keep it up.
Yeah,
you have to do it several
keep
times a
doing
day,
it.
really.
What about those? I've seen people using them actually down in the makeup room.
Oh, yeah.
The things
the
with wheels
same.
on them,
Yeah, well, that's a really good
Metal-
alternative if you're really on a budget.
like little rollers that
Yeah,
pinch your skin.
They are really good if they've got the little needles on them for doing at home, and it does the same sort of thing that we do in the clinic. So you can do it at home. They're about £30, aren't they? They're quite good.
What do you mean, the
Quite friendly.
stones? More the
Oh,
stones?
do you mean
They're sort of like a stick with wheels on.
Oh, the
yeah,
jade
oh, yeah.
rollers.
Yes.
Yeah.
You like those, don't
Love
you?
those, yeah.
Do they
She
work?
loves a
Because it's just on the
gadget too.
on the jawline is where I notice I get a bit saggy.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously, we've got a mutual friend called Tim, who I mentioned earlier on, actually, who is the first to point out when my skin looks bad. Or
He points it out to me as well.
yeah, he's got a nerve, right?
He has, actually, especially when he hasn't been in for such a long
And
time.
he's a real old man. We've got to take a break. Back in a sec.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, and a good morning to you. This is Talk, and it is Petrie with you at the moment. And my guests in the studio, Leslie Reynolds, skincare expert and co-founder of the award-winning Harley Street Skin Clinic in London, and Sophie Cooper, co-host of the Next in Line podcast with Leslie, as they do the podcast together. You must have a listen to the podcast. They cover all sorts of things. So you were talking about people coming back from Turkey, weren't you? And having...
Yeah.
I mean, that is a situation, isn't it, that we should touch upon, is people who are looking at you know, British practitioners and going, oh, they're too expensive, and then they go off overseas and it's a disaster, and because they don't know who they're seeing. And I think that's the most important thing, is check your doctor, check the company, check who's looking after your face or your skin. It's so important.
So important.
We've got two patients, actually, that we're looking after at the moment that went to, actually one went to Egypt, another one went to Turkey, and have had the most awful results. I mean, really scarred, terribly scarred.
Oh, gosh, poor them.
Yeah, and it will take years to actually... And also, both really put their life at risk.
Yes.
One was terribly ill in hospital, had sepsis.
Oh, gosh.
And of course the clinic they completely blanked her, didn't come back, wouldn't talk to her at all. So
and it happens more than you think, doesn't
Yes,
it? It
yeah,
really
it
does.
does,
It's
yeah,
the
it
most
is
important thing. And don't go to a Botox party, or don't let somebody who's not quite. And that's the problem actually in the beauty industry, isn't it? The regulation of it isn't as it should be.
No, and what's really interesting is that we're very regulated because we only have doctors. We do have a lovely nurse as well, actually, but we have doctors mostly, and we're very regulated. However, if you're a beauty therapist, you can go and do a day's course.
That's shocking to me.
You can get insurance and you can go out there and do
Because you put
whatever.
Botox in the wrong place, you're causing trouble, right? You can
And
cause
fillers.
and fillers. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had people come in and had filler injected into their sinuses.
What?
Ridiculous things. Yeah, absolutely horrendous things happen.
Yeah,
out
just
there.
please, just really, really be careful. I know that the cost implication is there. I understand that, but if it looks too good to be true, it is. And your face is just so. This is why people spend so much money on their faces, right? Because that's your window to the world. That's your out.
Yeah.
That's how you present. So, don't let anybody mess with that. I want to know about making. Preparing things at home, maybe. If people can't afford these expensive creams, they all of those things. What can we do at home? Because I know you write a column, don't you?
Yeah, for Best magazine.
For Best magazine,
So
about homemade
natural
beauty products. So
Yeah.
tell us a few that you think are really good. Because I'm sure that people are going, right, I haven't got the money to spend on this, but I can get an
There's so
avocado
much
or a...
that everyone has in their
I
kitchen
think
cupboard.
even if you have got the money to spend on it, sometimes what you've got at home is better.
Yeah. Yeah,
know?
it can be. So what are good ones?
A lovely one is honey. Lovely honey. I actually use your honey from your bees.
I've got my own bees, you know.
So honey and oats, and you grind the oats up, mix it with honey, a little bit of water, and it makes a mask. And it is, honestly, if you just put that on your hand, let it soak in 5 minutes, it'll leave your skin so soft, won't it?
I put it on my face
Hydrating.
sometimes, on my neck.
Yeah.
You know that crepey old skin? Well, you don't know, but I do know. Crepey old skin, and it is fantastic for that.
So that's just toasted oats or raw oats?
No, raw oats, and you just grind them.
Grind them up,
Add
add a couple of teaspoons of honey.
and a little bit of water, isn't it? And honestly, it's the best
And you can put it
thing.
on your face?
Yeah,
face
on
and
your
skin?
face, yeah. I've got all the recipes. They're all lots of them.
You've got lots of recipes.
What else?
yeah.
What else have you got? So there's a nice cheap one for you. That sorts your skin. And I can imagine honey is a good moisturiser and a good.
I love the other one you do with brown sugar.
The
Brown
scrub.
sugar, yeah, and olive oil.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Isn't
another
it?
scrub. That's actually I
Body
use that
oil.
sometimes on my arms, and I love. She does lots of things. I love the other oil one that you put lavender drops and rose drops into.
Rose tonic's really easy as well.
Yeah.
You get a green tea bag, so green tea.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of hot water and then let it just sit there for 5 minutes, about 5 minutes. Cold water, top it up with cold water, and then petals, loads of just rose petals, obviously in the summer.
Nick them from someone's garden.
And then you just leave it in the fridge, let it, and then it's a lovely tonic. So
Actually,
it's really
no.
hydrating.
And you know you had somebody who rang in about their eyes and soda bags under their eyes. You use cold tea bags, don't you?
cold tea bags.
Green tea bags. Yeah.
Cold tea bags. I use that on my puppy Humphrey.
Do you?
To wipe his eyes under his eyes. Cold tea. I can see that working as well. But you can do things with avocado too, right?
Oh, there's loads with avocado. You've got one with avocado, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I like avocado. I like eating it, so often I'll eat it, and then the other half I just whip up really, really well, and again olive oil in with it, makes it into a really lovely paste. That is so hydrating. It's
So you
incredible.
literally just put it
Literally
on-
just put it on your skin.
So all these nature's answers to these things, because the oats and honey thing sounds really good.
Yeah.
Actually, I can understand how that would work, and the avocado. But the brown sugar and olive oil,
Olive
so the
oil.
sugar doesn't dissolve into so you just use it as a scrub.
It's just,
It's just a really,
and you
lovely
can say,
little
actually, I usually always make too much. I just keep it in a jar.
You can eat
put it
it.
in the fridge. You can eat it.
stuff. Yeah, you.
And herbs, we grow loads and loads of herbs at Bowden, and we use the herbs in it as well. Herbs are fantastic. You know, if you put herbs and you leave them, again, just to seep for a week or two in with olive oil or any oil. I use all lots of different oils. Avocado oil I like to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I leave them, and they make the most beautiful smells. They're really lovely, and you rub them into your body, and they're just so hydrating. So if somebody's really sensitive, we get a lot of people who are very, very sensitive and very dry skin, or some people that have been ill, cancer and things like that. And I say to them, just use oil, cooking oil, really lovely cooking oils, and put it onto your skin. So hydrating.
And a lot of people just wouldn't think of that, right? They wouldn't necessarily
you have
think.
so much that you can use.
Well, my mum, this really came from my mum, didn't it? My mother used to make all her own products. And when I was a child, when, you know, we're sitting at the kitchen table, she'd be mixing things up, boiling things up. She was always making her own things.
And for people who are a bit tight on cash at the moment, that is a really good plan, isn't it?
Yeah, I think most people are at the moment. Most people are looking for what they can do. You know, they might have the Botox, but what else can they use, you know, at home? Yeah.
What about eggs? Are eggs any use for it? Because I can try and imagine.
Yeah, we use eggs actually for tightening, for a little bit of...
Yeah, the white.
Up your egg white, put it on there, leave it on for about 10 minutes. It does tighten things up a bit.
Clever. I love that. Right, we've got another message here. This is from Thomas, who says, I'm a man and I have huge pores on my nose. Is there anything I can do? I'm 56 years old. What can you do for huge pores on the nose?
Blemish. Yeah, so...
Blemfix. We've got an amazing product. It's our Harley Street range. And it's salicylic, so it just is so good for pores.
Salicylic
acid, yeah. So it's got, isn't it, salicylic?
Yeah, yeah. And actually I use it. I use it on that area because I've got really combination skin even at my age. And I get very open pores in the centre. And I just use that probably 3 or 4 times a week. Just a tiny amount. So
and that'll closes the pores, does it?
It closes them, yeah. And I'd use it twice a day when I do it. I would use it about 3 times a week. So a pot would probably last you about 8 or 9 months, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
How much is it?
I use it every day.
Do you?
Yeah, because I still break out now. I'm quite greasy, oily, but so I use it every day. It doesn't tingle. Some creams you put on leave you quite red, tingly, but this one gives you a glow.
So it's called salicylic.
It's got salicylic in it, which is an ingredient.
Right.
But the product's called Blemfix.
Blemfix.
Yeah.
And what sort of?
I think it's about £35.
And that'll last about eight months.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There are things out there that would help. Where would you get that from?
Well, online from the clinic website or ring.
So Harley Street Skin Clinic website, and that is www.harleystreetskinclinic.com, and you can go there, and it's Blemfix.
Blemfix, yeah.
Blemfix. There you go, Thomas. Any other questions you've got? Let us know. Put the word talk and your message to 87222. Quick break. Back in a mo.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Hello there, and a good morning to you. It is Talk, and it is Petrie here with you. And my guests in the studio, Leslie Reynolds, a skincare expert and co-founder of the award-winning Harley Street Skin Clinic in London, and Sophie Cooper, co-host of the Next In Line podcast with Leslie. I keep saying that's who you, but you also work at the Harley Street Skin Clinic, because I've seen you there.
Yes, yeah, well, she's taking over from me. Yeah, that's what happens with daughters.
They're big shoes to fill, so
I know. Scary.
And when are those two ever going to retire, anyway?
I know, I say that.
She says to me, why don't old people retire?
Rude. Rude.
Very rude.
Very, very rude. Let's have a look at the sun damage. I think that's probably a good thing to look at, given the summers that we're going to have from now on.
Huge problem.
Yeah.
Huge problem. Absolutely all skin types. It doesn't matter, from the lightest to the darkest skin. And actually, I see so many people, and have done for years and years, for pigmentation. And there are a lot of treatments that you can do that will improve it. We've got a machine. I don't know if I've shown it to you. We've got a machine. It's a skin analysis machine.
Oh yes, I did have that.
It's lovely, isn't it? You can see what's going on.
Yeah, I said one side of my face was about 10 years older than the other side or something. I don't know why.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
But it shows you the depth of the pigmentation.
Yeah, it shows you the
helps
damage.
us, yes, and the damage, and it helps us to give you the right programme, and we put you back on there after 6 weeks, and then we can see how it's improving. For skin like yours, we do IPL, intense pulse light, and you'd have that. We generally do that in the winter time, because we don't like people having it when there's a lot of sunlight around.
Right, yeah.
Because it can compromise your skin. But that's fantastic. You usually need about 3 treatments a month apart. And you have to have a test patch first. You do the test patch here, and then you can have the treatment within a week. And you'll see a difference from the first treatment.
And what does that do then? I mean, I'm not a big sun worshipper. I've never really been that much into going into the sun. I've got very sort of Celtic colouring, pale skin. But there was pigmentation damage, of course. Yeah. So what does it do if...
Intense pulse light is a beam of light, and it's attracted to the pigment in the skin. And so it hits the pigment, and it's absorbed, the light's absorbed, and then your skin will just very gently flake off. Some people have, a bit of a scab. It shouldn't be. It should be just a little faint mark, but the skin will flake off, and the lighter skin
Is this like liver spots?
Yes.
Okay, right. So, because some people are prone to them more than others, aren't they? Or is it just always sun damage?
No, I mean, sometimes it's just ageing. It can be the menopause, and then you get people that have got melasma, which is something that's never going to go. A lot of pigment in this area, hormonal usually, and around here, top lip. Girls come in and say, I've got this moustache, which is really, they find very upsetting. Yeah. And we use creams. Sometimes we use prescription strength creams. Sometimes we use chemical peeling. So it really depends on your skin, your age, and what's going on with you. So obviously, we wouldn't do it if you were pregnant, breastfeeding. Yeah. And some people, medication can sometimes cause it. There are so many different reasons for it.
What about the sun damage? There's an awful lot of skin cancer around at them, or pre-skin cancer.
Yeah. Well, I've had a little.
Yes, I remember you had to have that done, didn't you?
So we've got a great dermatologist, and they can do so many treatments now. Usually it has to be removed, scalpel, which isn't very nice. There are other treatments some people can have.
But this is also good if you go to somebody who's a skincare expert who can maybe spot the early signs as well. It's kind of like going to an optician who can say, right, you need to go and see a proper doctor now and go and
I noticed it myself, didn't I?
We do a lot of people, we say, come in, see the dermatologist and have a mole check.
Yeah.
So he'll do a full check over you just to check the moles.
I mean, it's a health issue more than...
really it is.
This isn't aesthetics, it's a health issue, and you do have to really watch for these things.
You've got to be really careful. Right, we've had a few more messages. Hi, I have very persistent hyperpigmentation on my forehead. What can I do? I'm 44.
Male or female?
Female.
Female. Well, you should really go into a good clinic and have an analysis and see. But it sounds like it's probably melasma, which is usually hormonal. Could be the pill. You know, a lot of girls taking the pill will
So
get
she's
melasma.
44 years old, so that could be perimenopausal.
It could be perimenopausal.
Sorry, Kelly, I don't want to put you in that position, but
Yeah.
so it could be. So that's just a case of balancing hormones, is it?
Well, no,
maybe.
no. I mean, it's very hard. If you've got melasma, it's something that will really never go. You've just got to get on top of it. It would depend on skin type. So whether she's got very light skin, Asian skin, what colour is her skin?
Yeah.
So it really needs a good diagnosis. But there's lots you can do for it.
So she can get it
She can
looking
get her
better.
skin looking really
Definitely,
good.
She can, so Kelly, you can get your skin looking really, really good, but there's lots of variables that we don't know in order to advise you further. Carol has said, could you ask for a tip for cancer patients going through chemo for their skin?
So we're actually doing a podcast about this.
Yeah.
Because it is so hard. One of our doctor's wives has had a most dreadful time with her skincare. We're actually developing at the moment a skincare product that's very, very natural, very gentle for people because they get very, very dry skin.
Yeah.
And uncomfortable skin and itchy skin. So you've got to use something that's very, very natural. I usually say to them, use olive oil because it's not going to do you any harm and it will take away that itchiness and the dryness. But we'll let you know, we'll have to let you know really what we're going to do with that.
Yeah.
We're in the testing stages now, aren't we?
It's such a big thing, so many people.
Huge.
Yeah. But like you're saying, if you're having chemo, then maybe the more natural you can go with putting stuff. So olive oil would take away the itching and help a little bit. But they are developing a range, so we'll come back to you about that, Carol. And Stephen has said, I've got a thick neck at the moment, a double chin. What can I do? What can I use to get a thinner neck?
Well, it sounds as if you probably need treatment for that. I can't think of anything that you could use. Why has he got a thick neck?
Yeah.
What's his health like? So we would really...
Would Botox be able to help on your neck?
Oh, a treatment.
You would
Face
do
tight.
face tight,
Face
yes. Yeah.
Face tight.
Face tight, neck
Explain
tight.
Face
That's
tight, neck
amazing.
tight.
What's that?
It's one of our most popular treatments, but it is invasive, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's minimally invasive. Go under the skin.
I'm just thinking if I want it. So what? Tell me about
need it.
Ask Timmy, I do need it. Right, so what is this? Face tight. Tell me about
tight,
this.
face tight. It's face tight, neck tight, gel tight, and little
Eye tight
tiny
as well.
eye tight
tight,
we do it around the
yeah.
eyes as well. And it's little tiny incisions. If it was the neck area, just under your ears, and a tiny incision here, so small you don't actually use a stitch to close it. They just use a steri-strip.
Right.
Go under the skin.
Yeah.
Obviously some anaesthetic, and then take out the fat. The fat's microsuctioned out very, very gently. And then another tool is used at the same time to heat the skin inside and outside, which helps to shrink it back. So it's a fantastic. You don't need it. See you touching your
Yeah,
neck.
I'm going, right, do I need this? So face tight, neck
Face
tight,
tight.
and that does you can have that done in, because my
Yeah.
concern when I came to you was the jowly bits, but I think they're going a bit now.
Yeah, they're definitely going.
But that's quite expensive because it's surgery.
Yeah. You would be looking around about £5,000 probably.
But going
it
to
is
a
a
proper
permanent treatment.
practitioner.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's only 36 years old.
Oh, that's quite common.
People
Is
have
it?
this about
Isn't it?
28 even.
Really?
Can have this, yeah. It's really popular.
So look, there is something you can do.
Snatched jawline.
yeah.
Everybody wants a snatched jawline.
Snatched jawline.
I would have snatched jawline.
So do I need to
Yeah,
get
so do
myself.
I think I'm getting close to needing a lift. What do you think?
No. You
No?
look great.
Just a little bit of a... I look much better because of you guys, I tell you. Again, I've got friends who say, "You be careful where you stop." Just because I'll be like that coming out. Mind you, you guys wouldn't let me.
We definitely wouldn't let you
I know
do
you wouldn't let me do that. So there you go, Stephen. There is something you can do. It depends on your budget. So if if you want to get in touch with the Holly Street Skin Clinic, I'm sure they'd be very happy to see you. And I trust them 100%, absolutely 100%. So if that means something to you, then that's great, because I do trust them. So get in touch with them, the HollyStreetSkinClinic.com, or just give them a call and ask to see Leslie or Dr. Khan, and then they can let you know what can be done. That's the best thing. And go to somebody that you trust, please. Just while I've got a few seconds, Alex wanted me to wish him a happy birthday for today. So happy birthday, Alex. I hope you have a wonderful day. We've got literally 1 minute.